Naruto was walking around the village in the land of waves. He could see that everyone was a little happier now that Gato had been dealt with. It was like a veil was lifted and light was returned to the country. Naruto felt happy that he could help with that. Still, his mood was not as happy as the people. He was pretty down about something. It happened earlier today when Naruto went to thank Sasuke for saving him. He was stopped by Sakura. His female teammate gave him a very harsh glare and told him off, blaming him for the condition that Sasuke was in. She then went on to say that he should quit being a shinobi because he was useless. The berating hurt Naruto and he quickly fled the house. He sighed and thought about what was said to him. He began to think that maybe it was his fault that Sasuke got hurt. It was as the team said, he should have attacked from outside the jutsu that Haku used. All he really had was the shadow clone jutsu and it did little to help. Maybe Sakura was right, maybe he didn't have what it took to be a ninja. "It's you!" a voice exclaimed, knocking Naruto out of his funk. He turned to see a woman tending to a ramen stand. Feeling hungry, Naruto made his way to the stand and sat down at it. The woman was smiling at him. "I can't believe that one of our heroes is at my ramen shop. How about a bowl of ramen on the house?" "Okay," Naruto exclaimed and waited for the ramen to come. She served it to him and he dug in. While not as good as Tuchi's, it tasted good. "This is really good. Thank you. My father taught me, but he was one of the first killed by Gato. I had to learn on the fly." "So, why were you walking around?" she asked. "I'm just thinking about something," Naruto said. "Secret ninja stuff, I understand. My older brother used to be a shinobi in Hidden Mist Village. He was killed when the Kagaya clan went nuts," she explained. That's when she suddenly got excited. Naruto watched her as she made some noise in the back. She returned later with several scrolls, including one big one. She held it out to him. "Here, consider this a thank you." "Wow, I couldn't possibly take this," Naruto said. "Don't worry about it. My brother can't use it and I don't want them anymore. I think that it would be better serving you. You can't let your skills drop, right?" she said with a smile. Naruto just blinked owlishly and took the scrolls. Naruto returned to Tezuna's house with the scrolls in hand. When he entered, he saw Kakashi sitting with a book in his hand. The sensei looked up and saw his blonde student with the scrolls. "What do you got there, Naruto?" Kakashi asked. "Someone handed me some scrolls that used to belong to her brother. I was thinking of giving these to Sasuke as an apology. I messed up sensei when we fought Haku," Naruto said. "Now Naruto, you shouldn't feel bad just because Sakura said some harsh words to you. You know how she is," Kakashi said. "Yeah, but I still feel bad. I'll give him these smaller ones while I keep this big one," Naruto said. Kakashi just nodded and returned to his reading. Seeing that no one was around, Naruto steeled himself before sitting across from his sensei. "Hey sensei, if I ask you a serious question, will you give me an honest answer?" The question made the copy ninja raise an eyebrow. He put his book away and gave Naruto his attention. "What do you want to know, Naruto?" Kakashi asked. "Do I have what it takes to be a ninja sensei?" Naruto asked. He was surprised that Naruto asked that question. Usually, he would brush anything that Sakura told him off and continue on. Sakura's words must have really stuck with him. He saw that he was waiting and faced him. "You don't really fit the mold of a ninja, Naruto. You're loud, brash, and exposed. You don't use your head and tend to rush into things. Your chakra control is still pretty bad, but that is because you have so much of it. Your shadow clone jutsu is impressive, but you should be a bit more diverse in jutsu," Kakashi said. Naruto looked down at that explanation. "Still, you come up with these amazing plans out of nowhere. You are great when it comes to group battles. I can count on you if things get bad. You have the potential to become great, Naruto, you just have to focus." "You really think I can be great?" Naruto asked. "I truly and honestly think that you can become great, Naruto," Kakashi said with an eye smile. He ruffled the boy's hair and was happy to see him smile. After a week, the team returned to Konoha. After speaking with the Hokage, Kakashi allowed the team to rest for the week. Naruto took this time to follow some advice that Kakashi gave him. He went to see Irika, who decided to give him some books. They were books on taijutsu, chakra control, genjutsu detection, and other various things. Irika helped him and became his tutor. It was rough, but Naruto stuck to it. He was now sitting on a park bench, looking through a taijutsu manual. The manual had several styles, but Naruto found them to be too hard or too stupid. He sighed in frustration and wondered what the hell he was going to do. Suddenly a shadow fell over him. Naruto looked up to see Shikamaru standing before him. "Hey Naruto, what are you doing with a book?" Shikamaru asked. "What do you think I'm doing?" "I was reading," Naruto said. "No, really, what are you doing with a book?" Shikamaru asked again. "You think that you're so funny, don't ya? Anyway, I was looking through this manual to find a taijutsu style that would fit me. Irika-sensei is helping me relearn the academy style, but that just doesn't suit me," Naruto said. "Well, good luck with that," Shikamaru said and was about to walk off when Naruto stopped him. "Hey, do you know anyone who is good at taijutsu?" Naruto asked. Shikamaru paused for a while before looking at him. "My sensei Asuma is pretty good. I can take you to him if you want," Shikamaru said. "Yeah, that would be really helpful, Shikamaru," Naruto said. He stood and followed the Nara air. "So, you're looking for a style that would suit you?" Asuma asked. He had a cigarette in his mouth as he faced the two boys. He was surprised that Shikamaru seeked him out until he told him the reason. He looked Naruto over and attempted to decide on what to do. "What about asking Kakashi for help?" "I would if I could find him. I thought I had him when he went to that store, but it turned out to be a straw dummy. I'm using that as a punching bag," Naruto explained. "Well, I don't know what can help you with. Truth is, I'm not the best taijutsu fighter out here," Asuma informed him. "Well, do you mind if we spar and you can tell me what I need work on?" Naruto asked. Asuma nodded and the two took fighting stance. The spar lasted for a while as Naruto threw punches and kicks at the bearded jonin. Asuma was impressed that the boy barely looked winded, but he was concerned about Naruto's fighting style, if you could call it that. He would have to ask his father to look into the academy teachers. After another 10 minutes, Asuma called for a stop. Naruto was a little confused by why he stopped the spar. "What's wrong? I still have some energy to burn," Naruto said. "Yes, I know, but I have seen enough, Naruto. Just out of curiosity, who was your taijutsu instructor?" Asuma asked. "It was Mizuki," Naruto answered with a tone. Asuma nodded his head in understanding. "Okay, here are the facts, Naruto. Your taijutsu is horrible and it will take a lot of work to fix. However, I can help you with your stance and footwork. How long do you have before you go back on duty?" he asked. 3 days, he answered. "That should be enough time. So, meet me here at noon and we can get started," Asuma said. Naruto nodded and thanked him for his help. He left the training grounds to return home. Naruto dragged himself home and to his bed. He fell on his mattress with a thud. After a few seconds, he managed to roll onto his back. He stared at the ceiling and released a sigh. He had underestimated Asuma-sensei. He assumed that he was like Shikamaru and would be a little laid back. He learned in these 3 days that Asuma was not like that at all. The smoking jonin explained to him that he was going to fix his stance and improve his footwork. He did this in 2 ways. To improve his stance, he had him assume a stance when his fist was to his face and his arms in tight. His feet were apart slightly. This was to help his defensives, as he was not allow any tennis balls to hit his chest or face. Asuma threw the balls at various speeds, confusing and annoying him. He was getting better but was far from perfect. To improve his footwork, he used the same method, only Naruto had to avoid the tennis balls while in the stance Asuma taught him. He enlisted the help of Choji and Shikamaru. The balls came at him at various speeds and volumes, forcing Naruto to move faster. He would trip up and get bombarded, but he also improved bit by bit. What made these exercises so exhausting was that they didn't stop until he dropped. Since he always had such high stamina, the exercises seemed to go on forever. Still, he was thankful for the training and promised to keep up with it. The shadow clone jutsu would help him greatly. As he laid on his bed, he turned and looked at the wooden scroll he picked up in the wave. He had forgot about that scroll when he got into his training. He forced himself to get up and made his way to the scroll. He unrolled it and was surprised to see a symbol. It looked like a big circle with several rings within it. Under it were 9 red magatama. He was very confused until he read the words next to it. To my sons and or descendants, my name is Chishiki, known as the Sage of the Six Paths. This scroll is my will and testament to my descendants who will one day gain the eyes of a god. Use this scroll and let my knowledge help you in mastering your new powers. May the scroll also help you in life. Do not allow your power to corrupt the good that I brought to the world. May this help you find and understand everyone and all things. I wish you great success and longevity. Naruto was scratching his head. Who was the Sage of the Six Paths? Was that someone they talked about in class? He decided to ask Irika-sensei after his meeting and missions. Maybe he might know something. Unknown to him, a force that was placed in him since birth began to stir. It was as if something was calling to him. He wondered what this feeling was. Asuma walked into a bar after another D-rank mission. Tomorrow, he would be taking his team on their first C-rank. He felt that they were ready and had asked for one. Shikamaru might be annoyed, but he would get over it. Knowing that he would be gone for a while, he decided to get a drink or two with Kurenai. They agreed to meet at this bar. His eyes landed on her, but she was not alone. Anko, Kakashi, and Genma was with her. She sent him a hidden message which he received. He went up to the table and attacked, surprised to see them. "Hey guys, funny seeing you here," Asuma greeted. "Hey Smokestack, are you going to join us?" Anko asked. "Sure. I'm taking my team on their first C-rank and I can use a few," Asuma said. He sat next to Kurenai and ordered something to drink. As he waited, his attention was grabbed by Genma. "I'm sorry, Genma. What were you asking me?" "I was asking you about your team," Genma said. "They're interesting. Takes a little to motivate both Shikamaru and Choji. Ino's a little too loud and bossy. In all, they are a great team. What about you guys?" Asuma asked. "Hinata is still a bit shy, but she is improving. Kiba is way too brash and it is a headache to deal with him. Shino is my most trusted student, but I wish he would open up more. They all have the ability to be a great team," Kurenai said. "My team needs a bit of work. Sasuke is arrogant and believes his team to be a burden. Sakura is still very much a fangirl and does not take things seriously. Naruto is like Kiba in a lot of ways, but I am happy to say that he is beginning to take this seriously. Our C-rank was an eye-opener for him and he is doing things to change himself. Irika has been a great help," Kakashi said. "Expect some more from the kid Kakashi. He has some potential in him," Asuma said. "Something I should know?" Kakashi asked. "He came to me for some help with his taijutsu. I've improved his stance and his footwork. You may want to help him find a style," Asuma said. "Well then, your drink is on me. Thanks for helping him," Kakashi said. Asuma nodded and the group went into other topics. Team Kakashi was waiting for Kakashi to arrive like usual. They all stood on the bridge and waited for their tardy sensei to arrive. Naruto was get bored just waiting for their late teacher and it showed on his face. Letting out a frustrated sigh, he decided to go over to one of the posts near the memorial stone. He faced the post and got into that stance that Asuma showed him. As he was in that stance, he threw punches and kicks at the post. He was still get used to the stance as his kicks and punches looked sloppy. His two teammates watched him. "What is that idiot doing? He's going to wear himself out before we get a mission," Sakura said. Sasuke just scoffed at the scene and went back to brooding. As Naruto continued to throw attacks, Sakura just smiled mockingly at him. "Look at him, he's just so bad." "You're not any better, Sakura," voice said from behind her. She shrieked and jumped a few feet into the air. Sakura spun to face Kakashi and glared at him. "Don't do that," Sakura exclaimed. "You're late," she added, making Kakashi smile at her. He looked back to see Naruto jogging up to them. He did see the stance that Naruto was in and had to admit that it suited him. He realized that it would take him a short while to get used to it. It gave him an idea on what to do today. "Okay guys, today we won't be doing missions. Today we will be training," Kakashi said. Sasuke and Naruto looked excited while Sakura looked uninterested. Kakashi did a familiar seal and two clones appeared. "Okay then, I will be taking each of you to a different part of the training grounds and work with you. Let's get to it. The original took Sasuke while one clone took Sakura and another took Naruto. Once they were out of sight, Kakashi faced Naruto. So what are we going to work on, Kakashi-sensei? Naruto asked. I think we will continue working on your taijutsu. I do like the stance that Asuma taught you. Fits you well, but you have not gotten use it yet. I wanted to ask you, do you have a particular style? Well, the academy style was never really my style. I did try some other styles, but they were too hard. I just took certain things and mixed them up. Naruto explained. So you're a jumble of different techniques? This could be good or bad depending on how we go about this. For most of the morning, we will continue working on that stance and some simple punches and kicks, Kakashi said. Okay, sensei, Naruto said, and he got into his stance. The clone and Naruto worked on the stance and his movement until lunch. Kakashi stopped him and got Naruto's attention. Okay, Naruto, I want you to list all those taijutsu techniques that you have learned and we will pick up this tomorrow. Let's go and get some lunch. Naruto nodded and made his way to the bridge as the clone dispelled. Kakashi got the info from the clone and was very impressed with Naruto. He was the good out of this waste of a training session. Sasuke was a huge pain in the butt. He decided to help the boy with his Sharingan and teach him some simple ninjutsu. The little punk kept on demanding that he show him a technique so that his Sharingan could copy it. He especially wanted to learn the Shadow Clone Jutsu, which he refused to teach him. He stuck to teaching him how to activate and deactivate the Sharingan. Sakura was worse. She was just so unmotivated, not wanting to get dirty and sweaty. He just showed her how to dispel Genjutsu, which she got pretty easily. Kakashi just hoped that it got better in the coming days. Naruto was bouncing on his toes and throwing some punches before throwing a corkscrew punch at the dummy that he had. It was the first technique that he had been working on for a week. The list he made for Kakashi was pretty long. Kakashi crossed off about 60% of those techniques and chose 15 that he believed that would be great for him. His stance was getting much better and his attacks were crispier than before. Kakashi and Irika were very glad for the improvement. Now, he decided to move on to ninjutsu. Like Kakashi said, he should be more diverse with his jutsu. He had gotten some scrolls to learn from. What gave him pause was that he didn't really trust himself to learn without supervision. Irika was busy now with the academy and Kakashi was very focused on his taijutsu. There weren't many other jonin he knew who could help. As he threw punches, a name suddenly appeared in his head. He could help him. After all, he was an elite tutor. Ebisu looked at Naruto with a critical look. Naruto stared right back at him. It was a very long stare down that didn't have a clear winner at the moment. After a while, Ebisu sighed and looked at Naruto. You want me to help you with your ninjutsu? Why aren't you speaking with Kakashi about this? Ebisu asked. Kakashi-sensei is focusing on my taijutsu while Irika-sensei is helping me mentally. Kakashi-sensei says that I should have more jutsu besides the Shadow Clone Jutsu. I don't want to try anything without supervision. Naruto explained. That was very smart of you. Do you have an idea of what level of jutsu you should concentrate on? He asked. Level? Naruto asked in confusion. Ebisu sighed and pushed up his glasses up. As you probably don't know, the Shadow Clone Jutsu is a B-rank kinjutsu. The fact that you can pull it off and in bulk means that you have a very high chakra pool. Low-level jutsu wouldn't work with you without some heavy chakra control exercises. Ebisu said. Wow, I didn't think of that. So, would that teleportation jutsu be out of reach for me? Naruto asked. Maybe not. Is that a technique you would like to learn? Ebisu asked. Hell yeah, that technique is badass, Naruto exclaimed. Ebisu just sighed again. He wondered if he would regret this decision. Kakashi looked at his team who was doing another D-rank mission. They were still a work in progress, mostly because of Sakura and Sasuke. Naruto had improved greatly in the past 2 months. His taijutsu was at a level where he could hang with taijutsu fighters like the Inuzuka and some mid-level chunin. He said mid-chunin because of the addition the Shadow Clone Jutsu, which he began to incorporate into his taijutsu. He seemed to have found someone to help him with ninjutsu as he caught him using the teleportation technique to get to his favorite ramen stand. He was very lucky that he waited until Sakura and Sasuke left to do so. He decided to test the improvement of his knucklehead student. He waited until they finished and took them to the tower. Once they reported their mission success, he took them to their training grounds. "Alright, my cute little genin, we're gonna have a friendly spar to see where you're at. Up first, Naruto and Sasuke," Kakashi said. Sasuke scoffed at Naruto, but Naruto was pretty excited to test his newfound skills. "Alright, this is a taijutsu-only match. No strong blows or crippling attacks." "Understood." Both boys nodded and got set in their stances. Kakashi looked at both boys before dropping his hand to signal the beginning of the match. Sasuke wasted no time in trying to take out Naruto. The blonde dodged the fast attack and started bouncing on his toes. Sasuke continued to attack Naruto, but none of his punches or kicks was getting through Naruto's defense. It was beginning to frustrate the last Uchiha. Naruto was just testing the Rookie of the Year, mostly because he was taking Kakashi's words to heart. He really had to fight the urge to rush in and was playing it cool. He was very surprised that Sasuke had so many holes in his attack. He decided to show him just how big those holes were. Sasuke threw a punch that Naruto ducked. He moved into Sasuke's guard and caught him in the side with a hook. He then hit Sasuke with a jab that surprised Sasuke. He finished the combo with a straight kick to his chest. Sasuke hit the ground but rolled to his feet. He growled and charged at him again. Dodging his first two punches, Naruto landed two punches of his own. He dodged and countered every attack Sasuke threw. It was beginning to greatly piss off Sasuke that he was getting embarrassed like this by the dead last. He activated his Sharingan and glared at the blonde. Naruto saw this and readied himself for a tougher spar. Sasuke increased his speed and pressure. Naruto was hard-pressed to keep up with Sasuke. Still, he was able to land some shots that made Sasuke pause and retreat. He suddenly ducked a punch that Sasuke overreached and lashed out with a kick to the gut. Sasuke was sent flying and hit the ground with a thud. Sasuke stood and snarled at him. He started to do hand seals but was stopped by Kakashi, who grabbed his arms and placed them behind Sasuke. It was the same position that Kakashi placed him in during the bell test. "That will be enough of that. Naruto is the winner of the spar via disqualification," Kakashi said. "What? But you interfered in the match. Naruto should be disqualified," Sakura exclaimed. Kakashi looked at her with a narrowed eye and Sakura gulped in fright. What were the rules of the match? This was a friendly taijutsu spar, which means no jutsu. Sasuke was about to use a jutsu just because he was not getting his way and got frustrated. He should have lost when he used his Sharingan, but I allowed it to slide. "Are you saying that I should have allowed Sasuke to use a fire jutsu on your comrade?" Kakashi asked with an edge. "I didn't mean," Sakura began but was cut off by the look in Kakashi's eye. She bowed her head in shame and remained quiet. Kakashi scoffed at her and faced Naruto. "Naruto, you are excused for the rest of the day. Enjoy your victory and have Ikaraku's put the bill on me. I have to talk to your teammates for a bit," Kakashi said. "All right, sensei," Naruto exclaimed and made his way to the ramen stand. Naruto was at home, reading some scrolls. After having some bowls of ramen, he decided to get to studying. As he was studying some scrolls, his attention was diverted to the wooden scroll that he got from the Wave Country. He wasn't very interested in it after reading the first paragraph, but something was telling him to continue reading. He put aside the material he was reading and made his way over to the scroll. He opened it and read it. As he read and was getting bored, he saw that this guy was giving instruction on how to master the elements. All the elements were there, and he was giving some clear instructions on how to master them. He quickly recanted his last statement about the scroll and continued to read the scroll eagerly. Unknown to him, his prisoner was reading along with him. He was very surprised to see that Naruto had gotten his hand on such a scroll. He smirked at the possibilities that Naruto could have with this in his possession. Perhaps he would not be within a weak container after all. Ino was not a happy camper at the moment. She snapped a strap on one of her sandals. Her teammates would not get their asses in gear when they were training, and that freakish forehead rival of hers was with her Sasuke. It made her so angry that she got to be on his team. Who knows how far she sank her claws into him. Oh, how she wanted to find their training grounds and have it out with her. That would show her who was top dog. She suddenly stopped when she heard a cry of frustration. She followed it and found Naruto. He was currently in a horse stance and holding a leaf with his two hands. She watched him for a while and chuckled softly as it looked like the guy was constipated. She watched him release another cry of frustration before falling onto his back. She just sighed and walked away from the area. Whatever that moron was doing, she didn't want to be involved with it. Kakashi watched as his team worked on a fence. He had his book in his pouch this time as he did not wish for any screw-ups. It had been a week since the spar and he couldn't believe how things had gotten. The issue was his two other students trying to bully their teammate. He just sighed as he could not believe the behavior of the Rookie of the Year and Top Kunoichi. It started when Sasuke challenged Naruto for a rematch without his knowledge. He was very happy when Naruto did not fight him and let Sasuke know that it wasn't going to happen unless he was there. Sasuke called him a coward, but Naruto did not take the bait. Sakura relentlessly berated Naruto for hitting Sasuke. It got to the point that Naruto got tired of it and told her to leave him alone. Sakura did not take kindly to that and attempted to hit him. The keyword being attempted as Naruto dodged her punch. She tried again, but Naruto blocked it. After another punch, Naruto slipped into her defense and swept her leg from under her, sending her to the ground. Sakura and Naruto were surprised by it. Naruto tried to apologize, but Sakura wasn't listening. He could see that Naruto was down about it, but he hoped that it would end his little crush on her. Lucky for him, Naruto was not frustrated by the actions of his teammates. He just kept on improving his skills, becoming a much better ninja. Irika helped him out mentally when he had time. When he could not help him, Ebisu stepped in and helped. This would be because Kakashi asked him to, telling the elite instructor that he would help Naruto with his jutsu. In addition, in helping Naruto with his taijutsu, he taught Naruto the water clone jutsu and the earth style, underground move jutsu. It truly helped the young blonde come up with some incredible ideas. While proud of this development, he was worried about the team. Because of that spar, their teamwork had dropped rapidly. It wasn't Naruto's fault, but he was concerned that Sasuke and Sakura may do something that would completely destroy the team. He didn't know what he would think about that. He just hoped that Sasuke got over his loss to Naruto so that the team could function well. Naruto was get very frustrated with this damn exercise. He was doing all the things that the scroll had told him to do. How hard could this really be? He so wanted to control fire because he had a dream of launching balls of fire from his hands. Yet this exercise was getting annoying. As the scroll said, he was to hold a leaf in between his fingers after he lit the middle of it with a match. He was to send his chakra into the leaf and keep the leaf from burning through. He also had to do some type of breath to match his chakra. It sounded so easy, but he found out that it was incredibly hard. After another failure, he let out a loud shout. That shout attracted the attention of a certain blonde-haired kunoichi. "Geez, Naruto, must you be so loud?" Ino asked. Naruto looked at her and wondered what she was doing here. "Hey Ino, what are you doing here?" Naruto asked. "I passed by this place on my way home. What are you doing?" Ino asked. "Training. This new exercise is kicking my ass. I want to figure this out on my own, but I might have to ask Kakashi-sensei for his advice," Naruto said. "If I was you, I would ask everyone for help. You are the dead last after all," Ino said with a smirk. "Does that make you feel superior or something?" Naruto asked with a frown. While he knew that he was a poor student, he had made great strides in getting better. Irika, Ebisu, and Kakashi had said so. Ino noticed the tone and she did not like how he spoke to her. "You just need to accept your shortcomings, Naruto. You're just not that good," Ino said smugly. This is coming from a girl who has a family of shinobi and lost out to Sakura for top kunoichi. Naruto countered. Ino balled her fist and glared at Naruto. "Hey!" Ino began, but she was cut off by Naruto. "Look, I'm really busy in becoming a better ninja so that I help my team. So, I'm going to leave and let you get back to fixing your hair for the team," Naruto said. With a wave, Naruto used the teleportation jutsu to leave. Ino was shocked, but it was not by Naruto using that technique. It was because the dead last had just told her off, then interrupted her and finally ignored her. Her shock quickly turned in anger. She would not allow this to stand. The next time she saw the blonde, he was going to get an earful and a beating. No one blew Ino Yamanaka off and got away with it. "Is something the matter, Naruto?" Irika asked him. "Nah, it's probably nothing," Naruto said. "Honestly, He felt a cold shiver go up his spine. It was as if death was after him. He shrugged it off and faced Irika. He ran into the Chunin after he escaped Ino. The instructor offered to treat him to some ramen and he accepted. Still, it did not stop him for his current thoughts. "Hey sensei, do you know what your nature affinity is?" Irika blinked at the question but decided to answer. "Actually, I do not know my nature affinity. That's a little out of your realm, Naruto. While you have been improving, that is a jonin exercise," Irika said. "But Irika-sensei," Naruto whined, "if I can finally get this exercise down, I could be slinging fire around like that. The scroll that I read it from has exercises on how to do for all the elements." Irika was confused by what he said. He never got him a scroll with that type of information. "What scroll?" Irika asked. Hiruzen looked at the scroll and was mildly surprised. In his office, Irika and Kakashi stood with him. Hiruzen rolled up the scroll and put it down on his desk. "He certainly has the luck of his mother. When did get this scroll?" Hiruzen asked. "It was during our mission in the Wave Country. I must apologize, Lord Hokage. I should have checked the scroll," Kakashi said. "It does not matter. However, we have our hands on a great piece of history. I always thought that the Sage of the Six Paths was a myth," Hiruzen said. "So what do we do about Naruto? He seems certain that he would be getting that back," Irika said. "I will explain it to him why I will hold it for him. When you feel that he is ready to learn about his affinity, Kakashi, I will give it back to him. It is his by right and it would further his understanding of ninjutsu. Just bring him by later," Hiruzen ordered. The two nodded and left. It would be an hour later, when Naruto was brought before the Hokage. The boy stood in front of him. "You wanted to see me, old man?" Naruto asked. "Yes, Naruto. It is about your scroll. I wanted to let you know that I will be holding onto it for a while," Hiruzen said. "But," Naruto began but was stopped by Hiruzen. "Naruto, the contents of this scroll is very valuable. If anyone knew that you had a scroll such as this, it could bring you untold troubles," Hiruzen said. "How could that be? It's a shinobi's last will and testament." "Who is this guy?" Naruto asked with annoyance. "He is the birth father of the jutsu we use today." Seeing the surprise on Naruto's face, Hiruzen continued. "Yes, Naruto, you are the owner of the scroll of the Sage of the Six Paths, also known as the God of Shinobi. Do you understand the importance of this scroll?" Naruto just nodded at the question. "Good. I am not taking it from you, Naruto. It was given to you, thus making you the owner of the scroll. I will make a note of that and place it in an undisclosed location for safekeeping. When Kakashi deems you worthy to learn from it, it will be returned to you. Does that seem fair to you?" Hiruzen asked. "I guess. Still, it would have been cool to learn how to control fire," Naruto said. Hiruzen just smiled at him. "Anyway, I do have something for you," Hiruzen said. He held out two scrolls for him. Naruto looked at the scrolls and back at Hiruzen. They contained two techniques from two very dear people. I believe that it would be happy to see those techniques used again. "Wow, what are they?" Naruto asked with excitement. "One is called the Ninja Art, Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu. This can be used with kunai as well. The other is called the Ninja Art, Whirlpool Vortex." "This is so awesome. Thanks a lot, old man," Naruto said and ran out of the office to get started on his new techniques. Hiruzen just smiled at him. He looked at the Yandame's picture with a smile. "Minato, Kushina. May those two techniques help your son grow," he whispered. Naruto spared with Kakashi. The Jonin was just defending, but he was very impressed with his blonde student. Within 2 months, he had become a very good ninja. His library of jutsu had grown, his taijutsu was great, he was able to tell that he was in a genjutsu and his tactics was impressive. His brash attitude was toned down some and he was serious when the time called for it. If he was honest with himself, Naruto could make Chunin should he take the exam. Kakashi caught Naruto's fist and flipped him onto his back. Naruto let loose an oomph and laid there for a while. Kakashi gave him a smile. "That was pretty good, Naruto. Was that a combination of the teleportation jutsu and clone jutsu?" Kakashi said. "Nah, I was reading up on one of the team's relatives. Shursui is his name. I read that he was so good using the teleportation technique that he could create afterimages. I'm still not as fast as him, but I'll get there, Naruto said. Don't mention that in front of Sasuke, however. He might not appreciate that, Kakashi said. He needs to just chill out. He and Sakura both need to. I don't understand what their problem is, Naruto said. He was at his wits' end with the two. Sasuke just kept asking him for another spar. He got that spar about 2 weeks ago. He was allowed to use his Sharingan this time. He admitted that fighting Sasuke was a lot more difficult with it on, but he was narrowly able to pull out a victory. That did not sit well with the last Uchiha who looked ready to roast him. Since then, he could feel the brooder following him. Sakura was worst. He didn't know why she was getting on him just because he beat Sasuke. She would berate him and even made a comment that hurt him greatly. He still liked her, but it was fading fast. The one thing that changed was that she did not try to hit him anymore. He also removed the chan from the end of her name. He just couldn't understand why they were acting like he was the enemy. Shouldn't they be happy that he was improving? Don't worry about it, Naruto. Just leave them alone for a while and they would come around, Kakashi said. I hope that you're right, Kakashi-sensei, Naruto said. Naruto was walking toward Ikaraku's after another mission. He idly wondered if he had forgotten something that he promised someone. He shrugged it off as it probably wasn't important. As he continued on his way, he heard Konohamaru's voice. Worried about his friend, he made his way over to where he heard the voice. He arrived to see Konohamaru being chased by Sakura. He saw his friends following behind him. Not wanting to see his friend get hurt, Naruto teleported and snatched him up in mid-run. He landed on a branch and placed him next to him. Sakura was very confused until Naruto made himself known. Naruto, hand that kid over, Sakura demanded. Not until you calm down. I don't know what's going on, but whatever he did or said doesn't mean that you can bully him, Naruto said. I'm getting sick of your attitude, Naruto. You think just because you beat Sasuke by luck that you're top dag, but the truth is that you're still a dead last. Sakura spat. At least I'm doing something. You're considered the top kunoichi, but you just as bad as Ino is. Maybe if you put a little effort into your training, you wouldn't be so far behind me or Sasuke. Naruto spat right back. Sakura was seething at his words and looked ready to try something. She was stopped by an unfamiliar voice. I thought Konohinin valued friendship and all that garbage, the male voice said. Naruto looked at the two teenagers and wondered who they were. He saw their forehead protectors and noticed that they were from Suna. From his studies with Irika, Konoha and Suna were allies. Still, that didn't mean that they could walk around freely. Are you guys here on a mission from Suna? I know that we're allies, but without identification, you're not allowed to walk around freely, Naruto said. Wow, haven't you seen the foreigners entering your village? The girl asked mockingly. You'll have to forgive me. I have been busy with my training to notice. But with what you said, that means that the Chunin exams are being held here, Naruto said. That was another thing he learned from Irika. He knew that it was a biannual exam that every nation participated in. Good guess. You're not as out of the loop as I first thought, the girl said. I have a great tutor. Anyway, I apologize for our behavior and for delaying you. If you don't mind, I'll be going with my young friends here, Naruto said. He led Konohamaru and his friends out of the area. When they were far enough, Konohamaru looked at Naruto. Thanks, boss, for saving me from that harpy, he said. No problem, but why was she chasing you? Naruto asked. She was bad-mouthing you, boss. Konohamaru didn't like it and insulted her. She got really angry and began to chase him, Moegi explained. Naruto just sighed at that. He was really getting sick of this. He didn't like that Sakura would just chase Konohamaru like that. This put a really damper on his feelings for her. He quickly shook it off and took his friends to Ikaraku's. Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke waited for Kakashi to arrive. Naruto stood as far away from the two. He didn't really feel like being around them. After he had lunch with the Konohamaru Corps, Naruto began to think about his teammates. He didn't understand what their problem was. He was training so that he would no longer be a burden to his team like Sakura told he was bad in the wave. He got help for others and he was improving at a rate that he thought they would appreciate. He thought that this would have brought the team together. Boy, how wrong he was. He then thought about the Chunin exams. He knew that it was an exam to go up in rank. He wondered if Kakashi would nominate the team. He really wanted to show how much he had improved. He also hoped that he could go up in rank. While he wanted to get closer to his teammates, he was beginning to see that it would not happen. He sighed and made his way toward a training ground. Every Jonin and Chunin was standing before the Hokage. It was that time again. The Chunin exams were upon them, and they were there to make the choice of which team would participate. Hiruzen got everyone's attention and the noise died down. Okay, as you know, the Chunin exams are being held in Konoha this year. I would like to hear if you will nominate your teams. Hiruzen said. Kakashi stepped forward and faced his aged leader. I, Kakashi Hatake, nominate Team 7, which contains Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, and Naruto Uzumaki, he said. Kurenai stepped forward. I, Kurenai Yuhi, nominate Team 8, which contains Shino Aburame, Hinata Hyuga, and Kiba Inuzuka, she said. Asuma stepped forward. I, Asuma Sarutobi, nominate Team 10, which contains Choji Akimichi, Ino Yamanaka, and Shikamaru Nara, he said. Everyone was muttering and whispering about what just happened. Iruka wanted to say something but held his tongue. He decided to confront the 3 Jonin after the meeting. After a few more Jonin entered their teams, the Hokage dismissed the group. Iruka left to catch up with the 3 and called out to them. Hey Iruka, is there something wrong? Kakashi asked. Yes, I was wondering if it is okay that you nominated your teams. They are still very young and these exams can crush them. Iruka said. I understand your concerns, but I am confident that my team will do well. You should have a little more confidence in them. You helped throughout the academy and prepared them for the ninja world. I know that they will do well in these exams. Kakashi said. Okay, but what about your team? Aren't you a little concerned about the relationship of your team? Iruka countered. A little, but when it comes down to it, I know that they will come together when the time comes. Don't worry so much about it, Kakashi said with an eye smile. Iruka just sighed and decided to trust the 3 Jonin. Naruto looked at the form that Kakashi had given to them. It was an entrance form to the Chunin exams, which would be starting in 2 days. It didn't give him a lot of time to train. He decided to search out Iruka. He found the man about to leave the academy. Hey Iruka-sensei, do you have a second? Naruto asked. Naruto, what can I do for you today? Iruka asked. I was hoping that you and I can have a little spar. Iruka looked at him with surprise. Naruto decided to elaborate further. Kakashi-sensei nominated us for the Chunin exams. I was excited at first, but I kept wondering if I was ready for the exams. So, I wanted to spar with you, a Chunin, to see if I can hang with you, he said. Iruka couldn't believe his luck. Despite trusting Kakashi, Asuma, and Kurenai, he went to the Hokage who allowed him to test the rookies. He was glad that Naruto was being so mature. Fine, let's go to the sparring circle, Iruka said. The 2 walked over to the field where they had spars. The 2 friends stood across for each other. All right, Naruto, you may use everything in your arsenal and I will do the same. Right, Naruto said and slipped into his stance. Iruka did the same and awaited Naruto's attack. Naruto made the first move his usual. Shadow Clone Jutsu. 4 clones appeared and charged at Iruka. Iruka pulled out some shuriken and launched them at the clones. The clones dodged the attack and continued their charge. He prepared himself but suddenly lost his footing. The ground below him began to suck him down. He cursed as the clones closed on him. He covered himself as the clones began to wail on him. The clones stood over the downed Iruka, who had half of his body sunk into the ground. They were on alert as it seems to be way too easy. One of the clones put their hands in the rat seal and unleashed a bit of his chakra. It dispelled the genjutsu that Iruka had used. That's when an explosion caught the 4 clones and dispelled them. Naruto was wondering what the hell just happened when he quickly rolled out of the way. He jumped into the air and threw 3 shuriken. Iruka blocked them with a kunai and charged at Naruto. Naruto landed and met his charge. The 2 engaged in a taijutsu match. Iruka was only countering Naruto, but that was few and in between. Naruto's taijutsu had improved greatly and it was effective. It was as if his style was meant to slow him down and to be painful. Iruka found an opening and threw a hook at Naruto. He was surprised that the hook passed right through him. That's when Naruto appeared and launched a powerful punch to his side and sent his to the ground. That is when the spar ended. Naruto ran to his teacher who was holding his side. "Oh man, Iruka-sensei, are you all right?" Naruto asked with worry. "Yeah. Just give me a few minutes, Naruto," Iruka said. He looked at his former student. "Was that a corkscrew punch?" "Yeah. Kakashi-sensei allowed me to use it since I can take some damage," Naruto said with a grin. "But what was that move from before? It wasn't a clone jutsu that you switched with," Iruka said. "Oh, that was my illusion dance. I created it after I did research on this guy called Shursui Uchiha. It's not on his level, but it will do for now," he explained. Iruka couldn't believe that Naruto had done a move similar to that of Shursui the teleporter. He had no doubt now that Naruto was ready for the exams. Iruka wrapped a bag of ice on his tender side. Naruto's strength was something that was very dangerous. He would be sure to practice his evasion skills. He was suddenly approached by Kakashi. The masked ninja gave him an eye smile. "So, how were they?" Kakashi asked. "I agree with your and the others' decision. They are ready for the Chunin exams," Iruka said with a wince. "Naruto did a number on you, huh? His style is pretty impressive. I've never thought to use low kicks, knees and elbows. Also, I've never want to be caught in his clinch," Kakashi said. "I'm still a little worried about your team, Kakashi. Naruto talks to me about the situation. Are you sure that you can trust Sakura and Sasuke?" Iruka asked. "I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't concerned, but I trust that they will be able to put their difference aside and work like a team," Kakashi said. Iruka just nodded at his answer. Naruto took a seat while Sasuke and Sakura surveyed the room. He checked his equipment again just in case he forgot something. He was nervous, that much was sure. He had a right to be, as he remembered what he saw earlier. After Sasuke disrupted the genjutsu on the second floor, a bonehead move he thought, they were confronted by a genin called Rock Lee. The spandex-wearing shinobi challenged Sasuke to spar. Naruto tried to stop it, but Sasuke wouldn't listen. In the end, Sasuke was soundly beaten by the genin. What Naruto took for it was that there was some very tough competition in these exams. His attention was taken away when Ino put herself on notice. Naruto ignored it and continued to check his equipment. When he was done, he put his pouch back on his belt. He looked up and was surprised that Ino was right in his face. He blinked a few times before noticing the angry look on her face. "Can I help you?" Naruto asked. "Who do you think you are, Uzumaki? How dare you blow me off like that?" Ino asked with an edge. "What are you talking about?" Naruto asked. "Don't play dumb with me. Just because I told you the truth doesn't give you the right to act like a jerk," Ino said loudly. That's when it clicked for Naruto as to why Ino was angry with him. "Are you still hard up on that day? First off, you were insulting me as I was training to improve my skills. If I'm not taking that from Sakura anymore, then why should I take it from you?" Naruto asked. The rookies noticed the missing Chan and was wondering what was going on. "Secondly, what did I say about you and Sakura that wasn't true? You come from a ninja clan. Sakura is a civilian. You have the edge over her, yet she gained top kunoichi honors. Am I wrong?" Everyone watched the scene with wide eyes. Naruto was talking back to Ino and make a good point about it. Ino was boiling with rage and was about to roar. "Why you?" Ino began when Naruto cut her off again. "Hey Hinata, Kiba, Shino, are you taking the exams too?" Naruto asked. Ino looked at the blonde with wide eyes. Naruto Uzumaki had just blown her off again. This was not going to stand. She was about to lay a beating on him when an older teenager stepped in view. "You guys need to calm down. You aren't making a good impression," he said and pointed to the crowd. The rookies looked to see everyone give them the evil eye and a little bit of killer intent. Some of them looked a little scared when Naruto stepped forward. He took a deep breath and showed his intent. The elder genin were surprised by the action of the blonde kid. They were certain that he was glowing in a faint blue color. The stare-off ended and everyone went back to their business. Naruto just sighed and turned back to the rookies. He saw that they were looking at him with shock and awe. What? Naruto asked. The elder teen pulled out a stack of cards. He began to shuffle through them until he pulled out a card. He looked at the card and then back at Naruto. Well, this is embarrassing. My card didn't have that skill. When did you learn how to do that? He asked. It's a secret and nothing you need to know about. Exactly what were you talking about? Information? What is that in your hand? Naruto asked. Oh, this, he said. He flipped the card and showed what the card had. It had a picture of Naruto, his stats, and his mission history. These are called Ninja Info Card. I have collected data on every genin in this exam from my times in taking this exam. How many times have you taken the exam? Sakura asked. This will be my 7th time. The name is Kabuto Yakushi, by the way. He answered. 7th time, you must really suck, Kiba mocked. I assure you that the exam is very difficult. I would not be so cocky in thinking that you would have an easy time, Kabuto said. These cards. You have information on everyone in this room? Sasuke asked. Yeah, even the rookies. Why? Are you interested in someone? Kabuto asked. Rock Lee of Konoha and Gaara of the desert, Sasuke said. That's no fun. You know their names, Kabuto said. He shuffled through his deck and pulled out 2 cards. Here they are. Show me, Sasuke demanded. Okay, the first one is Rock Lee, rank genin. He is the member of Team Guy with Tenten and Niji Hyuga. His mission history is 14 D-rank missions, 5 C-rank missions, and 1 B-rank. He has no talent in Jinjutsu and Ninjutsu, but his Taijutsu skills are off the charts. The second on is Gaara of the Desert, rank genin. He is the member of Team Baki with his siblings, Tamari and Kankuro. His mission history is 0 D-rank missions, 5 C-rank missions, 5 B-rank missions, and 2 A-rank missions. On each mission, he has come back from without a scratch on him, Kabuto told the group. Naruto was shocked at this. Seeing the picture, he turned to face the one called Gaara. He saw that he was wearing a black full bodysuit with t-shirt-like sleeves, 3/4 length legs, and an open neck. With this, he wore a white cloth over his right shoulder and the left side of his hips, and a wide leather band system over the left shoulder and right side of his hips. With this leather band, he carried around his gourd that contains his sand. He also wrapped his forehead protector over the band. He saw the rings around his eyes and the look that promised pain should anyone cross him. He looked very dangerous but couldn't understand how he could do such mission and now receive an injury. Did he have some type of defense that was not known? He had read about the 3rd Kazekage from his studies with Irika and how he had a similar defense. He was so into his thoughts that he missed Kabuto getting attacked. He was brought out of them when several Chunin and 1 Jonin alerted everyone. The Chunin exams were about to begin. Naruto let out a sigh of relief when they left the academy room. He sighed because he was happy that he was able to get past the first part of the Chunin exams. When it was discovered that it was a written exam, he nearly had a heart attack. Despite Irika's help, Naruto was still woefully underprepared. He just wasn't that book smart. He did enjoy learning from jutsu scrolls and tactic scrolls, but stuff like history, economics, and politics just bored him to death. When he saw the test, he almost had another heart attack. There was no way that he could answer any of these questions. He knew that he had to cheat. He was able to do a clever switch with someone 2 seats in front of him. He had to first create a diversion in which he got a ninja from Takigakure and a ninja from Amigakure get into a little brawl. He then created a clone and had it transform into Akamaru. The clone then bit the guy he was going to steal from. His clone dispelled and he was able to switch papers. Kiba got the blame and had 2 points deducted. Naruto was a little uneasy about that since Hinata sat right by him, but he wasn't going to be the one to get his team kicked out so soon. After a mental attack by the first examiner, he told everyone that they passed and the hidden meaning behind the test. He was surprised that they wanted them to cheat. He was very glad that Ibiki did not call him out on his little plan even though he said that it was genius. When he finished his explanation, a black ball crashed through the window. The ball unraveled and appeared was a very sexy-looking woman. The banner behind her introduced her as Anko Mitarashi, the second examiner. As a joke, he put up a card that had an 8.5 score on it. She actually pouted at the score. She berated Ibiki for the amount of teams left and told everyone that she was going to cut that down to half. She led them all to a training ground. The place had to be special as it was surrounded by a gate with barbed wire on the top of it. Anko told them that this was Training Ground 44A, K.A., the Forest of Death. That did little to ease Naruto's nerves. Anko began to explain the test. It looked like they were going to be on a 5-day seek and capture mission. The thing that they need to capture was the opposite scroll that each team was given. One was called the Heaven Scroll and the other was called the Earth Scroll. She also had out waivers as killing would be allowed in this part of the test. After the explanation, Anko gave some advice that just made everyone worry a little more. Team 7 entered a tent which hid everyone from view. They received the Heaven Scroll, which meant that they had to get the Earth Scroll. Sasuke immediately put himself as leader and he did not argue with him. He needed to at least be civil with him and Sakura as they would need to be a team for this part of the exam. He did switch scrolls, placing their scroll in Sakura's pouch. It made sense since no one would expect Sakura of having the scroll. Anyone who opened that scroll would be in for a nasty surprise. They were led to their gate and waited for the exam to begin. The Chunin at their gate unlocked it and opened the gates wide. They shot in without pause. It had been almost an hour since they entered the forest and Naruto wondered if he should have fought Sasuke for leadership. He figured that he had a plan, but his plan was to walk around until they found someone with their scroll. To him, it was a bad idea. He looked to his left and let out an annoyed sigh. "Hey, I'm going to take a leak," Naruto said. "You don't say such things in front of a lady idiot," Sakura exclaimed. "Hey, maybe you should tone it down a bit. We are in a forest filled with people who would love to kill us," Naruto said sarcastically. He walked away and entered the bush. Sakura huffed and made some comment about the blonde. It didn't take long before Naruto returned. "All right then, let's get going," Naruto said. Sasuke nodded and they began to leave. 2 seconds later, Sasuke attacked Naruto. Naruto was very surprised by the attack and was caught off guard. A spin kick to his jaw sent him flying into a tree. Naruto stood up and spat out a little bit of blood. "What the hell is your problem?" When you're trying to impersonate someone, make sure that you get everything right. The holster is on the wrong leg. Naruto chuckled, but a puff of smoke revealed a genin from the hidden rain. "That's pretty good," he said before pulling out a kunai. "Let's see how good you really are." The two jumped at each other. They were moving so fast that Sakura couldn't keep up. All she could hear was the clash of their kunai. The exchange lasted for a little while longer before they both landed across from each other. The aim genin chuckled again. "You're not half bad. A pity, because if you don't give me what I want, you'll lose this part of the exam." "I seriously doubt that," a voice said. The aim genin looked up but had to move as something was coming at him. Turned out to be one of his teammates. Someone landed on the ground and he saw his other partner over his shoulder. In Naruto's hand was a Heaven Scroll. But how?" the genin stuttered. "You guys are pretty good, but I've known that you've been watching us. A nice touch with the genjutsu, but I've trained to be able to know when a genjutsu has been used. As for your teammates, I reversed your ambush and did one of my own. The guy you had close by with the scroll never saw it coming. They aren't dead, but it'll be a while before they wake up," Naruto explained. The genin glared at Naruto, but he knew that he was outnumbered. He threw down some smoke pellets and made his way to his teammates. When the smoke cleared, they were gone. Naruto smirked at his team and pocketed the extra Heaven Scroll. His smirk fell when Sakura got in his face and berated him. He missed the look of envy in Sasuke's eyes. He was battling that aim ninja for a while and knew that he would be a tough challenge. By the way Naruto nonchalantly explained his ambush, he felt that they weren't anything great. It burned Sasuke's pride that the deadlast was getting stronger. He had very few successes in tailing Naruto, but when he did succeed, Naruto was either studying with Irika, working on chakra control with some guy in shades, or sparring with Kakashi. He wasn't learning anything that he had not seen before. He glared at the blonde before walking over to stop their argument. He would need to keep a very close eye on his blonde teammate. Naruto looked at the snake with an annoyed look. That trick that he used with his shadow clones was just something he came up with in a pinch. As he tried to regain his breath, he thought back to how things happened. As they continued on with Sasuke's plan, they were once again ambushed. This time, they were hit with a very power wind-style jutsu. Sasuke was able to catch Sakura as he was sent flying away. When he landed, he was suddenly attacked by the snake he just blasted his way out of. That's when the snake vanished in a puff of smoke. That was pretty weird, but Naruto didn't dwell on it. He needed to get to his team and fast. Sasuke was not having a good time. He and Sakura were in the fight of their young lives. They had found the caster of that wind jutsu when she attempted the same trick as the aim ninja did. Sasuke again was able to see through it, and the two stood in front of a teenager kunoichi. She had a scroll that they could use, so Sasuke challenged her. He should have taken Sakura and ran. The young woman was no genin. She was too powerful to be one. She seemed to have a creepy obsession with him and continued to chase him. The two genin of Team 7 were breathing hard as the kunoichi from the hidden grass barely looked winded. I'm very disappointed in this battle. I thought that the Uchiha were so strong. She mocked. Sasuke glared at her, but he was too afraid to do anything. He was considering giving up their scroll as a bargaining chip. The Kusa kunoichi began to make a move when she was suddenly attacked from all directions with shuriken. She landed on the trunk of the tree and looked around the area. She had a small smile on her face. Naruto-kun, is that you? Sorry lady, but only those I consider friends can use kun, and you're no friend, Naruto said. His voice seemed to be everywhere, not giving away his position. I'm guessing that the wind jutsu and the snake were your doing? I'm surprised that you survived my pet, she said. He ate something that did not agree with him, he said. Naruto, from his hiding spot, could see that Sasuke and Sakura were really beat up. This woman must be really good if she could have Sasuke in such a condition. What's your purpose here? What makes you think I have one? She asked. You're obviously skilled. You could have easily killed Sasuke and Sakura, taken our scroll and fled. You've been toying with them, Naruto answered. Aren't we clever? Yes, I could have ended this little game anytime I wanted, but I wanted to test the last Uchiha out. I was not impressed with him. Perhaps you would like to entertain me? She asked. Naruto didn't say anything but stared at Sasuke. What the hell was he doing? He could have easily have attacked her while they talked. He was about to say something when he felt someone behind him. He was too late as he was sent rocketing out of his hiding spot. Naruto hit the tree branch hard and dispelled. A shadow clone? Nice technique, huh? The young female turned only to be struck in the face by Naruto. She easily took the blow and backhanded him. The two landed across from each other. He didn't take his eyes off the woman. Anytime you two want to jump in and help, now would be the time, Naruto said to Sasuke and Sakura. The woman smirked and charged at him. She had to once again dodge another round shuriken. She blocked Naruto's roundhouse and lashed out with an elbow. Naruto blocked the elbow, but the power behind it sent him flying. She flipped in midair but was suddenly driven into the ground by another clone. 5 clones came out and attacked her. Naruto turned his attention toward Sasuke and Sakura. Aren't you guys going to help me? Naruto asked. We need to get out of here, Naruto. She'll pick us apart, Sakura exclaimed. We have to slow her down first. She no genin and my clones will not last long. We need wound her enough so that we can escape, Naruto explained. We should just give up our scroll and run, Sasuke stated. Did you not hear her before? She could have ended this in a matter of moments. She's just toying with us. Guys, I need your help, Naruto said. Sasuke looked ready to give in, but Sakura grabbed his arm. We need to get out of here. We can't fight her and win. Let that idiot Naruto cover our escape, Sakura said. Sasuke was surprised by what she was saying. She was ready to abandon Naruto just like that. Naruto was curious about what was taking so long when he had to dodge. He cursed and whipped out a kunai. He launched it at the girl. Ninja art. Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu, Naruto called out. The kunai tripled in amount and launched at the girl at incredible speeds. She was very surprised and was nearly skewered by the kunai. Seeing this, Sasuke was in awe and jealous. When did Naruto learn that technique? Was Kakashi teaching Naruto instead of him? With such thoughts, Sasuke made his decision. He took off with Sakura in tow. Naruto turned to see them leave and was in shock. What the hell? Where are you guys going? That's a shame. Naruto quickly turned to face the kunoichi. I did not expect the last Uchiha to be such a coward. She then faced Naruto and smiled. What will you do now, Naruto? You are all alone and have no backup. Naruto was shaking with rage, and it was directed at his fleeing teammates. This was the ultimate form of betrayal. He couldn't believe that they would break the motto that was set by their sensei. Despite his rage, he knew that he had to protect him. She was after that bastard for some reason. They were still teammates until he got his hands on them. The woman watched as Naruto pulled out 2 kunai and slipped into a fighting stance. I don't know why you want the coward, but he is still my teammate. I will protect him no matter what the cost, Naruto said with conviction. Besides, you're not just going to let me leave. You are much smarter than people think. Let's see if you can keep such a promise, she said. She readied herself to attack. Naruto readied himself for the battle of his career. Naruto was breathing hard and could barely keep his arms up. He felt like he had been fighting for half an hour, but it was actually for 5 minutes. He didn't know who this woman was, but she was much more skilled than a regular genin. She was just toying with him and enjoying it. He had not been able to land a critical blow on her. He needed to do something fast. The woman charged at him again. Naruto readied himself as she attacked him. The attack was fierce, but Naruto managed to only get minor injuries. He managed to kick her in the face and got some separation. He threw another shuriken and did some seals. Ninja art. Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu, he called out. The one turned into hundreds and converged on the teenage girl. She immediately summoned a snake that coiled around her and protected her from the barrage. Naruto knew that he was running out of time and had to do something now. He looked to the ground and suddenly got an idea. He would need to use a lot of chakra, but it was his only chance. Naruto stood on the side of a tree before running up the side of it. He entered the leaves and hid. The girl smiled and was about to give chase when she heard him call out. Multiple Shadow Clone Jutsu, Naruto shouted. The girl was surprised at the sheer number of clones. The amount blocked out the sun. Each clone threw a shuriken at the girl. She suddenly realized what the boy was planning. She was too late, however, when he called out his shuriken attack. There was no way to avoid or dodge. She was consumed in steel, as was the area. The number of projectiles ripped through branches and sent them all to the ground along with the teenager girl. When it was over, the ground was covered with black steel and the teenage girl was in pieces. Naruto dispelled his clones and landed on the ground. He winced and held his head as he got one of the worst headaches ever. He fought through it and walked over to the body. Naruto looked a little sick at the corpse. It was his first kill after all. Is this your first kill? The girl's head said, making Naruto's eyes widen in shock. They got even wider when he was stabbed in the back. The grass kunoichi on the ground dissolved into mud, while the real grass kunoichi held the kunai that was in Naruto's back. That was a great plan, boy. If you had acted a second sooner, I would not have the time to substitute with my mud clone. Lucky for you, this is only a minor wound and you will survive it. That's going to be a mistake on your part. Naruto grunted out before he popped out of existence. The woman was surprised, but not as surprised when the ground began to drag her down. Then the earth opened up and ate her. She struggled, but it was no use and she was dragged into the ground. When it was over, Naruto stepped out from behind a tree. He dropped to his knees and took several deep breaths. He figured that the grass kunoichi would have found a way to avoid his first attack, so he set up a backup plan. The ninja art, Whirlpool Vortex, kicked ass. Naruto rested for a bit as he was nearly out of chakra. That would prove to be costly as something shot out of the ground and impaled him in the chest. Naruto coughed out a bit of blood and looked down to see a sword. He looked up to see the grass kunoichi. She had a neutral look on her face. Naruto watched as she reached up to her face. He was very shocked to see her put her own face off. Once it was off, he got to see who he was dealing with. It wasn't a woman he was fighting, but a pale-faced man. He had amber eyes with slits in his pupils and purple markings around his eyes. He reached up to him and removed the sword from his chest. Naruto hit the ground with a thud. The man was about to leave when Naruto spoke. Wait, he struggled to say. The man turned back to see that his whisker marks were darkening and his pupils were slit. His blue eyes were beginning to turn red. He quickly moved and grabbed Naruto by his collar. He used his tongue and lifted his shirt. It revealed the seal that was now visible. He acted quickly and did a seal. His fingertips lit up with purple fire. Five-pronged seal! The man shouted and thrust his hand into Naruto's gut, right over the seal. Naruto let out a primal roar before succumbing to chakra exhaustion. The man looked at the boy with a sick smile. It's a shame that you are the container of the Kyuubi. With your potential, you might have been the perfect body. Either way, you have impressed me enough to reward you. Consider it a token of gratitude for such a good show. He regurgitated the earth scroll he swallowed earlier. He composed a note and attached it to the scroll. He then hid Naruto inside a tree truck before leaving. Naruto woke up later that day. He felt a small pain in his chest, but it was quickly going away. He thanked whatever god that was listening for his advanced healing. He mostly credited it to the fox. Either way, the pain was fading. He looked around and noticed that he was within a tree. He then remembered the person that he was fighting. He couldn't believe that he was fighting a man all this time. He was super tough too. His hand hit something and Naruto saw that it was an earth scroll. He saw the note attached to it. He carefully opened the note and read it. Naruto-kun, I am greatly impressed with your skills. You actually made it interesting. Congratulations on keeping me from my objective. I will have to try again at a later time. For your bravery, here is the earth scroll. You must now hurry to your teammates, or my little genin will end them on my orders. Orochimaru. Naruto just could not believe who wrote this note. He knew that he was fighting someone stronger, but he didn't think that he was fight one of the freaking Sannin he learned about from Irika. This also made him angry at his teammates for their abandonment. Naruto quickly stood and made his way out of the tree. He had 2 people to hunt. Shikamaru couldn't believe how troublesome this situation had become. Why did Ino have to run her mouth about saving her chosen one? Now he, Choji, Ino, Sakura, Lee and Sasuke were on the ground defeated. This sound team was no joke. He had already figured out who each of them fought. The girl loved to use senbon and could use them to cause server damage. The spiky black-haired guy could fire a combination of air waves and sound waves. The most dangerous of them was the leader. He wore a gauntlet that could amplify sound waves, causing those to pass out. Together, they made a terrible force to be dealt with. This is a joke. Even with help, the great Uchiha isn't that great. The spiky-haired boy mocked. Sasuke glared at him with all the hate he could muster. The kunoichi aren't that much of a threat either. Such a waste. The girl added. Enough, Kin Zaku. Let's just finish them off. The leader said. All right already, Dosu, Zaka said. He turned to face the group. Well, you heard him. It's time to go bye-bye. He raised his arms to finish them off. He was suddenly stopped when a kunai nearly hit him in the head. The team looked up to see 2 more Konoha genin. Man, you guys just keep coming out of nowhere. Before the Hyuga could speak, a series of explosions caused a huge dust cloud to appear. Everyone was confused and disoriented. What the hell is this? Zaku called out. Calm down, Zaku, Dosu shouted. He kept his ear open for a sound and was confused as to why he didn't hear Kin. The smoke cleared and he found Kin. She was lying on the ground, not moving. The 2 were wondering what just happened, when Zaku was suddenly swallowed up by the earth. Dosu jumped into the air, feeling whoever was attacking them was underground. He was suddenly restrained by 4 blondes. They raised him high before slamming him down into the ground hard. Naruto popped out of the ground and landed on Dosu's chest, knees first. Dosu gasped before passing out. The ground was suddenly blown away and Zaku crawled out of the crater. He shook the cobwebs out and looked around. He watched as Naruto got off Dosu and faced him. Who the hell are you? Zaku demanded. All you need to know is that you're outmatched here. You can leave with a few bruises or some major damage. It's your choice, Naruto said. Here's my choice. Slicing sound wave, Zaku shouted. Naruto vanished, leaving an afterimage. Zaku was confused when Naruto appeared in front of him. His arm cocked back. Zaku quickly fired and slicing sound wave, but he was shocked to see that it was another afterimage. He suddenly felt amazing pain on the side of his face. He was then sent flying into a tree with amazing force. He hit the tree hard and fell to the ground unconscious, the side of face gaining a huge bump. Everyone was amazed at the display. With a few moves and carefully planned ambushes, Naruto destroyed the sound team. The blonde's clones searched the team and managed to find an earth scroll. He pocketed it and faced the others. Holy crap! Naruto, that was awesome! Choji cheered. The two had just descended from the branch had to agree with the chubby ninja. As Choji was about to congratulate him, Shikamaru stopped him. He saw that Naruto did not have his usual happy face. He walked past them and up to his teammates. Naruto bore a hole into Sasuke, who didn't look intimidated. Sakura looked worried as she saw Naruto clench and unclench his fists. "What do you want, Dobe?" Sasuke asked without care. That instantly earned him a punch to his jaw. It dropped him to the ground. Naruto then grabbed Sasuke by his collar and drove him into a tree. The force that he hit the tree at dazed the last Uchiha. "You son of a bitch! I should beat your ass for what you did. If there was anyone I would not expect that from, it's you. Why did you and Sakura leave me to die?" Naruto roared. This surprised everyone in the area. "Let Sasuke go, Naruto. We should have run and gave up our scroll like he said we should have," Sakura shouted. "Do you know who you left me to fight? Orochimaru was disguised as that girl who was kicking your asses. Why would a Sannin care about a test?" Naruto spat. He turned his attention back to Sasuke. "You are nothing but a coward and a fraud. You think that you're the shit, but you're nothing but talk. How are you going to fight and kill your brother when his strength dwarfs yours? Are you going to run like the little bitch that you are?" "You will release me now," Sasuke shouted. "You don't make demands of me, Uchiha. As far as I'm concerned, you and Sakura are no longer my teammates. You broke Kakashi's rule, and to me, you two are worse than trash," Naruto shouted back. He shoved Sasuke to the ground and spat on Sakura's foot. He jumped into the trees and was gone from sight. Sakura looked around and saw that everyone was giving her and Sasuke dirty looks. "We didn't know who he was fighting," Sakura stated, trying to explain the situation. "And does that make what you did right? You left him there to die and he should be," Shikamaru said with a tone. "It seems that he was fated to be on such a bad team. It also seems that the Uchiha is not all that he and hyped up to be," Neji mocked. Sasuke rounded on him with a harsh glare. Ino looked at the direction that Naruto went in and decided to follow. She didn't know why, but she decided to see how the blonde was doing. Naruto splashed some water on his face, hoping the cold water would calm him down. He was still angry, but it had reduced as he had gotten all he wanted to say out. He sat near the river and thought about what to do next. He knew that he would have to get to the tower and let the old man know about what happened in the forest. He would bite his anger and go with his former teammates. He had both scrolls, so they wouldn't be in each other's company for long. He suddenly heard something and pulled out a kunai. He got ready to attack until he heard the voice. "Wait a minute, Naruto. It's me, Ino," she called out. Naruto relaxed his guard a little and waited until she came out. She noticed that he was still on edge but realized that they were still participating in an exam. The two just stood there for a while before Ino spoke. "So, had a rough day?" Ino cursed at her stupidity while Naruto looked at her with a deadpan look. "Sorry. I know that you've had a rough day. I was just trying to lighten you up." "It's okay, Ino. I just need some time to cool off. I can't do that in front of them," Naruto said. If you want, I can ask the guys to come along with you, so that you can have some company to talk to," Ino said. "You would do that just to keep me company?" Naruto asked skeptically. "Hey, do you want the company or not?" Ino asked hotly. Naruto smiled for a brief moment before answering. "Thanks, Ino. Do you have both scrolls?" Naruto asked. "We need a heaven scroll," Ino said. Naruto pulled out the scroll he took from the AIM team and tossed it to Ino. "It's a thank you for helping keep Sakura and Sasuke alive," Naruto said and walked past her. Ino looked at the scroll and smiled. Maybe Naruto wasn't such a pain after all. She followed him back to the camp. Took a while for Ino to return with Naruto in tow. Naruto glared at his teammates and they returned the glare. Everyone there could feel the tension between Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke. Ino cut in before anything could happen. "Hey guys. getting Shikamaru's and Choji's attention. We're going to be traveling with Naruto and the others to the tower. 2 teams are better than 1, right? Ino asked. How are we going to do that without a heaven scroll? Shikamaru asked. Ino answered him by holding up said scroll. Sakura noticed the scroll and was furious. How could you give them our scroll, Baka? Sakura exclaimed. Naruto didn't answer her and just walked up to her. She prepared herself to knock his lights out, but he swiped her pouch and pulled out another heaven scroll. He threw her pouch back at her and walked off with both scrolls. He ignored her voice and moved on. Ino followed him, as did the rest of her team. Sasuke and Sakura soon followed them. As they walked toward the tower, Ino attempted to lighten the mood and tension between Naruto and his teams. Truth be told, she could not fault Naruto for being angry. On one of their breaks, Ino decided to check on Naruto's story. She entered Sakura's mind and got the truth from her memories. She couldn't believe that they would just leave him like that. She refused to speak to Sakura after learning the truth. Ino mostly kept talking with Naruto, who appreciates her help. Shikamaru and Choji also talk with him as well. Sakura couldn't understand why everybody was trying so hard to make Naruto happy. In her mind, it was all Naruto's fault. He should have escaped with them when Sasuke suggested it. They had an extra scroll, so it wouldn't have been a huge loss. Now, everyone was looking at her with disgusted and disappointment. It wasn't something she enjoyed. Sasuke was just glaring a hole through Naruto. He didn't like how Naruto just pushed him around like that. He didn't like how he called him out like that. He didn't like this new and improved Naruto. He was much stronger than him. Those Sound Genin had made a fool of him, and Naruto easily took them out with just a few useless jutsu and a distraction. It infuriated him at how weak he was. He was going to get to the bottom of Naruto's strength. The 2 teams arrived at the central tower without incident. They listened to Shikamaru and kept to the ground and near the river. They moved around other teams and stuck to being ghost. When they entered the tower, they read the parchment on the wall. If you lack heaven, seek wisdom to be prepared. If you lack earth, run in fields and seek advantages. What does that mean? Ino asked. Shikamaru looked at the parchment and then at the scrolls. He looked at Naruto. I think we can open the scrolls now, Shikamaru said. Naruto nodded and did as Shikamaru said. The scrolls glowed and exploded into a lot of smoke. When the smoke cleared, both teams were face to face with Izumo Kamizuki and Kotetsu Hagane. Well, look at what we have here. You guys formed some sort of alliance? Asked Kotetsu. 2 teams are better than 1. So does that mean we passed this troublesome test? Shikamaru asked. Yeah, that's right. Congratulations on completing the second part of the exam, Izumo said. Before any other things can be said, Naruto stepped forward and faced the 2 Chunin. Hey guys, is the old man in the tower? Naruto asked. Yeah, he's here, Kotetsu said. I need to see him. He has to know that something happened in the forest, Naruto said and handed Kotetsu the note he kept. Kotetsu looked at it and went wide-eyed. Open your jacket, Uzumaki, he said with seriousness. Naruto was confused but complied with him. When he did, he showed the bandages that he wore. Kotetsu was worried, as was Izumo. He looked toward his partner and nodded. Izumo was gone in a flash while Kotetsu looked at Naruto. I'm taking you to the infirmary, Naruto, so hold on. Naruto wasn't given any time to acknowledge him before he was taken away. Ino and the others were confused and worried about the blonde. I wonder what that was about, Choji asked. He looked to get an answer from Naruto's team when they were gone as well. Hey, where did they go? Team 10 looked around and could not find either member of the dysfunctional Team 7. Those weasels, they're probably going to rat on Naruto. Knowing Sakura, she'll probably lie, Ino said. It's troublesome, but we better find them and make sure that she tells the truth, Shikamaru said. Knowing that this was as excited as Shikamaru would get, they set out to find Team 7. Sakura searched frantically for the Jonin lounge. She jumped to the conclusion that Naruto was going to tell the Hokage about what happened in the forest. She figured that she should get her story to Kakashi before Naruto told the Hokage. Sasuke decided to follow her, but for a much different reason. After searching, they found the lounge. They entered and searched for Kakashi. They found him reading his book. Kakashi-sensei, Sakura called out. The one-eyed Jonin was surprised to see either one of them so early in the exam. Well, this is a surprise. You guys made it with 3 days left. I'm very impressed, Kakashi said. That's when he noticed that Naruto wasn't with them. Where's Naruto? That's what I need to talk to you about. Sensei, Naruto. Sakura began but was suddenly cut off by Ino's voice. Naruto, what, Sakura? I hope that you're not planning to put the blame on Naruto for what happened in the forest. Ino said. This is none of your business, pig, Sakura snarled. I'm making it my business, forehead. You were about to lie about what you and Sasuke did. I'm not going to allow that to happen, Ino said. Since when do you care about Naruto? Sakura asked demandingly. Since I saw your memories while we were traveling, Ino said. Why you? You had no right, Sakura shouted. I had every right. You and Sasuke abandoned him to fight someone who was years stronger than him. What was it you said? Oh yeah. Let that idiot Naruto cover our escape, Ino said. Sakura was stuttering and was about to shout at Ino until she was forced to turn around. She was confronted with Kakashi's narrowed eye. Is what she said true? Kakashi demanded. Sakura couldn't speak and looked down at her feet. Kakashi narrowed his eyes at her and faced Ino. Where is my student? He was taken to the medical bay. His chest was bandaged. He handed a note to the two Chunin and they immediately took him there. Choji said nervously. Kakashi nodded and made his way to the medical bay when he was stopped by Sasuke. The two glared at each other. Why have you been holding back with me? Sasuke asked with a tone. Excuse me, Genin? Kakashi asked him. You've been holding back on me. Where did the dobe learn that shuriken attack? What have you been teaching him and not me? Sasuke demanded. What I teach is none of your concern, Genin. If I teach you something, it is for your own good. If you don't like it, too bad, Kakashi said and shoved past Sasuke. The boy was enraged at the dismissal and attempted to attack Kakashi from behind. It was a stupid move as Sasuke found himself on the ground, Kakashi's foot stomping on his head. The other Jonin couldn't believe the balls on the kid to do such a thing. Sasuke struggled, but a small twist of his arm made him groan in pain. He turned slightly to see Kakashi's lone Sharingan glare at him. You have disappointed me for the last time. The great last Uchiha. The one to bring justice to his clan, you are a joke. Do you truly believe that strong techniques can defeat your brother? A man who was an ANBU captain at 13? You can train as hard as you can, but it will never be enough. Do you want to know why? It is because you are weak. You are weak at heart, weak at will, and weak at spirit. You are nothing more than a child throwing a tantrum when he doesn't get his way. I would rather teach Naruto because he has the right stuff to be great. You and Haruno-san can consider this your termination from my team. I have no need for trash like you, Kakashi said and released Sasuke. He walked out and left him to stew. Sakura attempted to help Sasuke, but he shoved her away and stormed out of the lounge. Sakura could feel the disappointed looks from the Leaf Jonin. She left soon after, but not before glaring at Ino. Ino wasn't intimidated by the glare. One person in the room was smiling at what he saw and excused himself. It was about time to mark his prize. Hiruzen waited until the medic was done with Naruto's diagnostics. When Izumo arrived and gave him the note, he was incredibly worried. He rushed to the medical bay and demanded that Naruto's bandages be removed. They did as they were told and removed the bindings. Hiruzen was able to relax when he saw that there was no mark on him. He didn't know what Orochimaru's mark would do to Naruto's seal. He allowed the medics to continue and waited for them to finish. That's when Kakashi appeared. Hokage-sama is Naruto, Kakashi began, but he is stopped by Hiruzen. They are just finishing up and we will have our answer soon, he said. As soon as those words were uttered, the doctor was done. He looked toward the Hokage and Kakashi. The kid is fine like always. All of his injuries are gone and he is able to move around, the doctor said. He left with his team and the ANBU secured the room. Hiruzen looked at Naruto and smiled. You shaved a few more years out of my life, Naruto, Hiruzen said. Sorry about that, old man, Naruto said. It is okay, my boy. Now, the note you received. I know it is from my wayward student. What can you tell me about your encounter? Hiruzen asked. There's nothing I can really tell you. He had an agenda though. When I arrived on the scene, he was just toying with Sasuke and Sakura. He could have killed them if he wanted to but didn't. When they abandoned me, he toyed with me as well. It was like he didn't want me to die. I don't know what he wanted, but it was like he was testing us. Naruto explained. Hiruzen nodded and patted Naruto on the head. Thank you for your input, Naruto. I'll leave you with Kakashi so that you can talk. Hiruzen said and left the room. Once outside, he signaled his ANBU. I want Sasuke Uchiha placed under constant guard now. Sir, they said and vanished. Hiruzen kept walking to his office and began to wonder what his student was planning next. Sasuke stormed through the halls of the tower. He was irate and enraged at the words Kakashi had just said to him. He was not weak. He was not a child. He needed power to complete his ambition. All these team practices and drills were meaningless. He didn't need anyone's help. Itachi was his and only his to kill. He would make Kakashi pay for his words. The best way was to take out his favorite student, Naruto. He would like to hear what Kakashi would have to say after Naruto couldn't compete anymore. He suddenly jumped back as a kunai flew at him. A purple wall appeared behind him and he was trapped. Alone at last, Sasuke, a voice said. He looked forward to see Orochimaru. Sasuke immediately activated his Sharingan and glared at him. This just amused him further. So now you are ready to fight? The last time we faced each other, you could barely keep up. You were shivering in your sandals and your teammate had to come and save you. It seems that your teachers have overestimated your abilities. Shut up. I don't need that dope to deal with you. I am an Uchiha. I am an Avenger. You will not mock my abilities. Sasuke roared. Oh, such passion. Such hunger. Why don't you show me your true abilities? Orochimaru asked mockingly. Sasuke quickly did some seal and took a deep breath. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. Sasuke said and launched the biggest fireball ever. This just made Orochimaru smirk as the attack hit. The explosion rocked the tower and alerted everyone. Hiruzen along with his guard rushed to the scene. He arrived to see several jonin there. They all saw a huge hole in the wall, fire burning around it. Report what is going on here? Hiruzen demanded. We don't know, sir. We have just arrived here as well. One chunin said. Another explosion caught their attention and it was a little ways away from the tower. He turned to Asuma. Take a team and investigate. Detain anyone you find. Hiruzen said. Asuma nodded and took a team with him to investigate. Hiruzen couldn't help but be worried about what could have caused this. Is this it, Sasuke? Is this all you have? Orochimaru said with some disappointment. Sasuke was on his hands and knees, sucking in air. He looked at Orochimaru and growled. Not even the Sharingan could read him. He would not go down like this. He would make this man take him seriously. He charged again and threw a punch-kick combination. Orochimaru easily defended against it and slammed Sasuke down to the ground. Orochimaru would hold him there for a while. He sensed some people coming and realized that his window had closed. It's such a shame that you could not do much better, but that is to be expected. However, I will award your bravery, he said. He did a single seal and his neck stretched. He then bit Sasuke on the side of his neck. Sasuke screamed for a while before feeling weaker. Orochimaru stood and walked away a few feet. He turned back toward Sasuke. That gift I gave you, use it well, Sasuke. If you like it and want more, then come and seek me. With that said, Orochimaru vanished and Sasuke was out cold. Asuma arrived and noticed the burning wood and laying body. He checked to see that it was Sasuke. He also noticed something else and it made him worry. It was Orochimaru's curse mark. Hiruzen waited in his temporary office and awaited the information about that disturbance. He had a sinking feeling about what it could be and he knew that he would not be happy about it. He did not have to wait long as his ANBU appeared. Report, he said seriously. Sir, we have found the body of Sasuke Uchiha in what appears to be a battleground. He was unconscious and his breathing was labored. We determined that this was because of the curse mark that has been placed on him. The ANBU reported. Why wasn't he guarded like I said? Hiruzen asked bitterly. I'm sorry, Hokage-sama, but we were making shift changes. Also, we could not locate him after he left the Jonin lounge after Captain Kakashi spoke to him. The ANBU said. Damn it. I was hoping to avoid this. Hiruzen cursed. He thought for a while before facing his ANBU. Summon Anko, as I will need to know how likely Sasuke will survive. Also summon Kakashi to seal the curse mark. I don't care about his issues with the boy. Tell Asuma and Ibiki to investigate what happened. The ANBU nodded and left to do his bidding. Kakashi walked with his student. He was glad that he was okay and was a little impressed with his student. Lasting so long, in his case, against one of the Sannin, was a tremendous feat. He still berated him for fighting someone clearly his superior and made a note to teach the boy how to think a little better. Suddenly, an ANBU member appeared in front of the two. Captain Kakashi, you are needed quickly, the ANBU said. What's going on? Kakashi asked. Sasuke Uchiha has been attacked and has been given a particular mark, he said. Kakashi's eye went wide and narrowed. He could guess what had happened to his former student. He turned his attention to Naruto. Go get some rest, Naruto. We will talk later, Kakashi said. Naruto nodded and left. He turned to the ANBU and nodded. They both vanished. 3 days passed, signaling the end of the second part of the Chunin exam. Everyone was gathered in a large hall where their sensei were. As a sickly-looking Jonin instructed that there was going to be a preliminary round, the Hokage was thinking about the past 3 days. He was thankful that Sasuke had survived the curse mark. Anko had told him that 1 out of 10 was likely to survive it. However, the mark was active and it had to be sealed. Kakashi was the one to do it, and he used the curse sealing technique to do it. After that and a long rest, Sasuke woke up. Hiruzen wasted no time in speaking with the boy. At first, Sasuke was difficult, but he changed his tune after the Hokage threatened to remove him for the exams. He told him everything and the Hokage was not pleased. He asked Sasuke what he was thinking, and the boy's answer told him everything. Everything was done because of his foolish pride. Orochimaru played to it and he was able to mark the boy. He left the angry boy alone, shaking his head at his actions. He just sighed and made a mental note to do something about Sasuke. His attitude would get himself and others killed. He put in the back of his mind for now and concentrated on the prelims. Naruto watched the matches as they progressed. Some of them were impressive, others were boring as hell. He stood near to Kakashi as they watched. He was currently watching Shikamaru fight the Sound Kunoichi-kin. It looked like the sloth would be able to pull out a victory now that he caught her in his shadow. He thought back to the first 5 matches. The first match was Sasuke versus Kabuto's teammate, Yoroi Akato. At the beginning, Sasuke attempted to brutally defeat his opponent. He was sloppy against him and Yoroi capitalized on it. He had an ability to suck the chakra out of his opponents. This left Sasuke severely weakened. However, Sasuke was able to get free and use the Leaf Shadow Dance, a move he stole from Rock Lee. He then used a different move to end the fight, calling it the Lion's Barrage. To Naruto, Sasuke was just a copycat who didn't care where he got his strength. The second match was Zaku Abumi against Shino. Naruto could feel the hate coming from the Sound Genin as he glared at him. He couldn't really talk as his jaw looked wired shut. His attention was turned back to Shino. Zaku believed that he could just blow Shino away with his sound slicing wave attack. Shino proved to be too hard to hit as he used clones and insect clone to maneuver around Zaku. He had the boy trapped when Zaku used his supersonic slicing wave on Shino. He believed that he was the victor, but he was suddenly encased in a sphere of bugs. The bugs returned to Shino, who was standing there, unharmed. Zaku was on the ground, unconscious. The third match was Misumi Tsurugi against the Sand Genin, Kankuro. Misumi attempted to strangle the guy, using a technique that was very similar to Orochimaru. As he looked like he killed the guy, he turned into a wooden puppet. That surprised Misumi, who had the tables turned on him. Seeing that he was about to break his neck, Kankuro decided to break all of his bones. He smirked as his opponent lay on the ground unmoving. The fourth match was Sakura versus Ino. This was a very disappointing match. All they really did was throw insults at each other for most of the match. Ino did have the upper hand on Sakura, having better skills than her. When Ino hit Sakura with her ninja art, Mind Transfer Jutsu, Naruto thought the match was over. Surprisingly, Sakura was able to break free from the technique. They then proceeded to knock each other out. When Ino came to, she was disappointed in her match. Naruto told her that it was okay and that she would do better next time. Ino thanked him for the words. The fifth match was Tenten versus the Sand Kunoichi, Temari. This was a quick match and very one-sided. Tenten was a long-distance fighter who could hit anything. However, she faced another long-range fighter who could use the wind. All of Tenten's weapons were useless against Temari. She then ended the fight with a powerful wind-style jutsu. Temari showed her ruthlessness and put her iron fan under Tenten. The way her back bent was not a pretty sight. Lee wasn't happy and attempted to do something about it but was stopped by Guy. They shared some words with the Sand team before the prelims continued. Naruto watched as Shikamaru had just knocked out the Sound Kunoichi, using her position to win. Naruto always thought that Shikamaru was just a sloth, but the match showed him that he was very smart. He would need to be careful when he had to face him. The names blurred again on the board. Stopped on two names. One was Kiba's, the other was his. "All right, Naruto. Show them that you aren't the same person from the academy," Kakashi said. "Right," Naruto said and jumped over the railing. Naruto took off his coat and threw away. He began to do some stretches as Kiba looked at him with an arrogant smirk. "What's the deal, dead last? You don't actually think that you can beat me?" Kiba asked. "We won't know until I try, dog breath," Naruto said. He slipped into his stance and waited. Kiba just smirked and told his dog to stay out of this. Hayate looked at the two and dropped his hand, signaling the beginning of the match. Kiba did some seals and called out his technique. Ninja art of beast mimicry, all fours jutsu. Kiba got on all four and took on a more beastly appearance. He vanished and reappeared in front of Naruto. He threw an elbow at Naruto but he hit nothing but air. He was confused when he barely dodged a powerful blow from Naruto. Kiba took a few steps back before rushing Naruto again. He was using his family's taijutsu but he couldn't touch Naruto. Frustrated, he overreached and Naruto attacked. He hit him with a body blow to his kidney. Kiba winced and tried to throw an elbow but Naruto ducked under it. As he came up, he threw another cross to Kiba's chest. Winded, Kiba stumbled back and Naruto continued his assault. He stepped it, landing two jabs and finished with another cross. Kiba growled and tried to swipe at Naruto but Naruto vanished again. Kiba was suddenly bombarded with blows from all directions. Naruto moved like a blur. The assault stopped when Naruto sent Kiba flying from a sidekick. Kiba tumbled on the ground before coming to a stop. Kurenai was shocked at what she had just seen. While she would not put down any child, she believed that Kiba was more superior to Naruto when it came to close combat. Naruto had completely dominated that first round. Not only that, but she could have sworn that the move he had just used was just like that of Shisui Uchiha. She looked at Kakashi and wondered what had he been teaching him. Kakashi watched and was pleased to see that Naruto's illusion dance was battle-ready. He could only wonder if Shisui would be proud there was another one just like him. He turned to Ino, who had her mouth wide open. "Surprised?" Kakashi asked. "I thought what he did to the Sound team was impressive, but this is insane. He was never able to match Kiba back in the academy. How did he get so strong?" Ino asked. "He worked his butt off and he had help from various people. Your sensei was one of those people," Kakashi said. Ino looked at Asuma, who nodded at her. "Our first mission outside Konoha, Naruto felt useless. He didn't want to feel that way again. He trained hard and worked hard so that he could stand with his teammates. It's too bad that his former teammates couldn't see that. He is a true testament of hard work." "What a youthful story, my rival. I will work twice as hard to match young Naruto." Guy cheered. "I will work 3 times as hard, Guy-sensei," Lee countered. This continued for a while, but everyone seems to ignore them and focus on the fight. Kiba wiped his mouth and faced Naruto, who was still in his stance. Akamaru barked at him to calm Kiba down. Kiba couldn't really believe that this was happening. Naruto was the dead last, the failure. How could he have gotten so strong in such a short time? Was his sensei that good of a teacher? Many questions ran through his head, but he banished them in order to show Naruto that he was still the best fighter. "Fine dobe, you want to play it that way? Let's go, Akamaru." Kiba shouted. The white puppy barked and Kiba tossed him a pill while he ate one himself. Naruto watched as Akamaru's fur got red, and he jumped on Kiba's head. Kiba did a hand seal and called out his jutsu. Man-beast clone, Kiba called out. Akamaru transformed into an exact copy of Kiba. Naruto could see that this might be a problem and shifted to a defensive stance. Kiba and Akamaru moved much faster and attempted to attack Naruto from each side. Naruto teleported across the room as they were about to connect. Kiba and Akamaru followed him by scent and chased after him. It was a game of cat and mouse as Naruto kept teleporting around the room to avoid Kiba and his partner. Having enough of his running away, the two forced Naruto into a position where he couldn't dodge. You're mine. Fong over Fong, Kiba shouted. He and Akamaru began spinning like drill and moved to hit Naruto, who was stuck in midair. Naruto acted quickly and did a jutsu. Shadow Clone Jutsu, Naruto called out and created 10 clones. While he was aiming for more, this would have to do for now. Kiba just laughed at Naruto's stupidity as a clone was just an illusion. He was very surprised when he made contact with the clones and they were solid. After the attack, Naruto was left with 5 clones. Naruto knew that he had to separate the two, but how? Suddenly an idea came to him. He created 3 more clones and told them to scatter. Kiba and Akamaru just kept attacking using the Fong over Fong attack. They managed to dispel 2 clones, but because they continued to use the same attack, they were able to avoid them. Kiba and Akamaru were getting frustrated with Naruto. He kept dodging, not fighting like he usually would. If Naruto would stay still, he would have won this match by now. Kiba and Akamaru were back to back as the clones circled them. Damn it, Naruto. Fight like a man, Kiba snarled. What's wrong, Muttface? One clone asked. Are you a little frustrated that I'm fighting you differently? The other clone asked. Don't worry. This match is about to end, another clone said. Ninja art. Whirlpool vortex. A voice called out and the ground beneath Kiba and Akamaru began to suck them in. They quickly freed themselves, which is what Naruto wanted. 2 clones appeared and kicked each Kiba away from each other. They both landed on their feet, but one was surrounded by 4 of Naruto's clones. The real Naruto then popped up from the ground and did a string of hand seals. Capture and arrest jutsu, Naruto called out. Everyone watched as tags began to glow on the clones' backs. This caused both Kiba and Akamaru to pause. What did you just do, Naruto? Kiba shouted. I've just won. I'm guessing that you're Kiba, so who I have trapped is Akamaru. The jutsu I'm using is a pretty nasty one. If Akamaru attempts to leave, the explosive tags go boom. It will happen if he flares his chakra too. You make any attempt to save him, I detonate the tags. It's ruthless, but if you don't surrender, I won't have much of a choice. What's it going to be? Naruto asked. Kiba was at a standstill. He so wanted to knock Naruto in the face. However, Naruto had all the cards. With an angry sigh, Kiba made his choice. I surrender, Kiba said. Winner of the 7th match, Naruto Uzumaki. A8 announced. Naruto let out a sigh of relief and deactivated his jutsu. The same was done between Kiba and Akamaru. Akamaru jumped into Kiba's arms and he just petted him. Naruto felt bad about the move he used, but a victory was a victory. The Jonin were very impressed with Naruto's performance. He used Kiba's straightforwardness to his advantage and he put him in a situation that he could not free himself from. They could only wonder what he would have in store for the finals. As Naruto reached the top of the stairs, he was suddenly embraced by Ino. Still the shortest of the graduation class, Naruto was placed face first into Ino's budding chest. Naruto could help but get a red face as he could feel the 2 fleshy mounds under her blouse. Well, this is a surprise. I did not know you were in that kind of relationship with each other, Kakashi said with amusement. Have you given up on Sasuke, Ino? Asked an equally amused Asuma. Ino was confused when she realized that Naruto's face was in her chest. She did not miss the red face of the blonde. Her face flushed red, and she proceeded to throw Naruto down the flight of stairs, shouting pervert. Naruto bounced twice before landed on the ground in a twisted heap. He released a groan and could not get up at that time. Kakashi appeared above him and looked at him. Shikamaru is right. Women are troublesome. Naruto groaned. Still, You can say that you got some boob, right? Kakashi asked with an eye smile. Naruto only blushed at the question. Watching them, Sasuke could only glare at them. He watched Naruto's fight with interest so he could take something of his. However, the blonde was careful not to use any of those moves he saw in the forest. He gripped the railing. He would get those techniques one way or the other. The preliminaries continued with the last 3 matches. The 8th match was a battle between the two Hyuga, Neji and Hinata. This match was very one-sided as well as Neji complete dominated Hinata. She did put up a fight, but she was still not match against him. Ino did try and cheer her on, but it proved useless. At the end, Neji just mocked her and left her defeated. Kiba had to be restrained. The 9th match was Gaara against Lee. This was the match of the prelims. Gaara's defensive shield could not be penetrated by Lee's taijutsu. That was until he took off ankle weights that hit the ground with a thud. This made the spandex wearing shinobi much faster. Lee would be the first to ever hit Gaara, not once but twice. His cheers were quickly silenced as he saw that Gaara was unhurt. They all saw that Gaara's sand clung to him. It was like armor. Lee quickly countered this by opening one of the 8 gates. He used the gate of opening and was able to launch Gaara in the air with a combo. He then wrapped Gaara with his bandages and drove him into the ground with the front lotus. Thinking that he won, Lee was surprised that it was not Gaara he drove into the ground but a sand shell of him. Gaara appeared behind him, a wicked grin on his face. He then proceeded to punish Lee, slamming him into the walls. After a while, Lee got his speed back and was able to dodge Gaara's attacks. Lee then proceeded to open 3 more gates, the gate of healing, the gate of life, and the gate of pain. Lee's skin turned red and looked like his body was about to burst. He took off like a rocket at Gaara, who was not able to defend against Lee's supersonic speed. Everyone watched in awe and fear as Lee battered Gaara in midair. The sand armor was useless and Gaara felt immense pain for the first time in his life. Lee decided to end this and open the 5th gate, the gate of limit. He vanished and reappeared in front of Gaara. He sent him toward the ground, but he was suddenly jerked back to a charging Lee. Lee landed a kick and punch to Gaara's midsection, calling the move the reverse lotus. Gaara hit the ground with a boom while Lee hit the ground with a thud. Hayate was about to call the match a draw, but when the smoke cleared, Gaara was very much still in the fight. Guy and Kakashi saw that he used the gourd on his back to save himself. Gaara struggled to move his sand to crush Lee. Lee was too hurt to escape the sand as it wrapped around his leg and arm. Gaara closed his hand and crushed the 2 limbs. He sent more sand to kill Lee, but Guy stepped in to save him. Gaara was confused as to why he would save him, but when Guy called him his precious student, Gaara was confused. He was then shocked when Lee stood. However, he was standing out cold on his feet. The match was won by Gaara. The final match was Choji against Dosu. Knowing about the gauntlet on Dosu's arm, Choji thought he was safe as he stayed in his human boulder technique. This, while a smart move, was useless. When Choji got stuck in the wall, Dosu used his melody arm. He used the water within Choji's body to enhance his vibrating sound drill. This stopped Choji cold and Dosu won the match. With the prelims done, the winners were on the stadium floor in front of the Hokage. I would like to congratulate you on your victories. You are the genin that will take part in the 3rd and final stage of the Chunin exams, which will be a month from now. It will give the time to learn something new as your opponent has seen what you can do. Hiruzen said. Enko stepped forward. Each of you, walk up to me and pick a number out of the box. Enko ordered. Each of them walked up to her and picked a number out of the box. Okay. From left to right, tell me the number you picked. 3, Sasuke said. 5, Shino said. 6, Kankuro said. 8, Temari said. 7, Shikamaru drawled. 2, Naruto said. 1, Neji said. 4, Gaara spoke. 9, Dosu said. While they told her the numbers, she marked down their names on a board. When she finished, she looked at the board before facing the genin. Alright, this is how the finals will be. The first match will be Neji Hyuga versus Naruto Uzumaki. The second match is Sasuke Uchiha versus Gaara of the Sand. Third match is Shino Aburame versus Kankuro of the Sand. Fourth match is Shikamaru Nara versus Temari of the Sand. Dosu get a bye. Everyone looked at their opponents. They faced the Hokage who gained their attention. To remind you, even though you beat your opponent does not mean that you will get promoted. Everyone could pass or no one could pass. We are not just looking for strength. Anyway, in 1 month's time, the finals will be held. I wish all the luck in your training. Hiruzen said. Hokage-sama, you can't be serious? Kakashi asked. He was currently in his office with other jonin. Kakashi was displeased because of the order that he was just given by the Hokage. I know that you are displeased, Kakashi, but right now, we cannot let Sasuke out of our sight. He is an unknown risk right now and we can afford to be unaware. With Orochimaru lurking, we cannot be sure that Sasuke will take his offer of power. Hiruzen said. What about Naruto? He will need training as well. Kakashi said. I understand that, but Sasuke is our top priority. Besides, the boy is quite resourceful. I'm quite sure you can help him out in some way. Hiruzen said. Very well, Hokage-sama. I will look after the Uchiha's training. Kakashi said with a sigh. Hiruzen nodded and they continued on with the meeting. What? Naruto exclaimed. He was standing outside the Hokage tower waiting for his sensei. Kakashi had just told him about the Hokage's order, and the blonde was not too pleased about it. It's out of my hands, Naruto. Right now, Sasuke is an unknown risk that we cannot ignore. I have to watch over him and keep him safe from Orochimaru. Kakashi said. Okay, I get that, but what am I going to do? Naruto asked. You can always talk with Ebisu. Isn't he one of the people that you go to for help? He is a great teacher. Kakashi said. That is true. I guess I'm just angry that we aren't doing any one-on-one training, he said. Kakashi gave him an eye smile and rubbed the top of his head. Don't worry. We will have that training soon. I'll meet up with Ebisu first and give him 2 techniques for you to learn. I'll also tell him to teach you a chakra control exercise first. Take the rest of the day off and relax. Kakashi said. Naruto nodded and Kakashi disappeared using the teleportation technique. Now alone, Naruto wondered what he should do. He wasn't hungry yet, so he just decided to walk around for a bit. He did this for about half an hour when he came upon an argument. It was Sakura and Ino. The argument looked really heated as people were quickly moving out of the area. What the hell is your problem, forehead? I have more important thing to do than to stay here and argue with you, Ino shouted. My problem is you. How could you do that to me and Sasuke? Now every ninja I run into gives me this look of disgust. Like I did something wrong. Sakura spat. Well, guess what? You did do something wrong. I know that Naruto doesn't have the best of reputations, but no ninja would have just abandoned him after he came to save their lives. What happened to you and Sasuke is your own damn fault because of your cowardice, Ino exclaimed. I am not a coward, so what if we left Naruto alone? He deserved it for acting so cool, Sakura shouted. Would you listen to yourself? How far have you lost it, Haruno? You know what, I don't care anymore. You want to be a cold-hearted bitch, then go ahead. Just stay the hell away from me, Ino said and turned her back to her. Sakura was enraged and cocked her fist back. Don't you turn your back on me, I know, pig, Sakura roared. She launched her fist at Ino's back. Her fist connected, but it wasn't with Ino. It was Naruto. He had caught Sakura's punch, but he had to use both hands to do it. Ino was as stunned as were some of the people on the street. Naruto pushed Sakura back, making fall on her butt. He shook his hand as that was one strong punch. Sakura got to her feet and glared at Naruto. This isn't any of your business, Naruto, Sakura snarled. I wasn't about to stand by and allow you to hurt Ino because of a few words. Is this how you are? You don't like what people say to you, you lash out when their backs are turned? If you had connected with that punch, Ino could have been put in the hospital or worse, Naruto stated. Is that so? A voice said. Everyone turned to see Ino's father, Inoichi. He was flanked by his old teammates, Choza Akimichi and Shikaka Nara. All 3 were staring a hole into Sakura. The pink-haired Kunoichi gulped and back away. She only made 1 step before she was captured in Shikaka's shadow. Choza grabbed the girl and held her firm. Inoichi glared at her. Sakura Haruno, in compliance of Section 25 of the Shinobi Code, I am placing you under arrest, he said. Choza took her to the prison with Shikaku following. Inoichi turned to check on his daughter only to see her checking Naruto's hand. Ino, take Naruto inside and tape the hand up. I'll be back shortly. Ino nodded and led Naruto inside the flower shop. He left to catch up with his comrades and their prisoner. Naruto clenched his hand and winced a little. Ino's mother helped a little in wrapping his arm. Lucky for him, it was just a bruise and not broken. Ino finished wrapping the hand and looked at him. That should do it. I wouldn't do anything with it for a while, she said. I wouldn't worry about it. I heal pretty fast, Naruto told her. They sat there in silence for a while before Ino spoke again. Hey Naruto, can I ask you something? She asked. Yeah, sure, he answered. Your sensei said that your C-rank mission made you take your training seriously, Ino stated. It did. Sasuke got hurt because I rushed into a situation. Sakura put me down as well. I spoke to Kakashi and he pointed out my flaws. After that, he told me that I can become a really strong ninja despite my flaws. I decided to correct my flaws and become better so that I would not be a burden to my former teammates. Now, I guess that I'll get stronger to protect Konoha, Naruto said with a grin. Do you think that I could get stronger? Ino asked meekly. Sure, I don't see why not. My advice though is to ask for help first. It might suck. It might make you angry to hear all your flaws, but if you can get past that, then you have made the first step in getting better. You saw my awesomeness against Kiba? Naruto boasted. Please, you tricked Kiba and threatened to kill his dog, Ino stated. I still won, right? And for the most part, I was whipping his butt. No one can say that I'm the dead last now. True, but you're still a perverted idiot, Ino said. Hey, that was your fault. You shoved my head into your chest, Naruto exclaimed. I did no such thing, Ino shouted. The two blondes argued, unaware that Inoichi was listening in. He had a small smile on his face at the advice that Naruto had given his daughter. It was very good advice that he hoped that she took. He then heard the sound of metal hitting flesh. He looked to see Naruto on the ground, a lump growing out of his forehead. Ino was holding a frying pan. He decided to intervene before she took another swing at him. Kakashi stood in front of Sasuke. It was nighttime in an undisclosed area. Kakashi had his book out, ignoring Sasuke. Sasuke didn't like it, but he had a smug grin on his face. It was something that Kakashi noticed when he picked him up. You seem happy about something. Care to share? Kakashi asked. I just find it amusing that you were ordered to training me. How did the dobe take the news? Sasuke asked with a grin. He took it pretty well. Seeing that you haven't really won a spar against Naruto since he took his training seriously, he doesn't have much to worry about, Kakashi said. Sasuke's smile fell and his eyes narrowed. Whatever. So what are you going to teach me? Sasuke demanded. Nothing, he said. What? Sasuke shouted. Why should I teach you anything? You're only going to use what I taught you against others. Sorry, I will not allow that. Besides, you have enough to work with since you had your Sharingan on the entire time, Kakashi said. Those useless techniques will not help me against Gaara. I need something stronger in order to beat him. You were ordered to help me, and you will comply with that order. Sasuke spat. Kakashi closed his book and stood. Sasuke grinned at him, but it soon disappeared as he felt an untold amount of pain. He struggled to look up at Kakashi. The man looked down at him with his Sharingan exposed. Very well, your first thing we need to do is increase your speed. Let's just hope you're fast enough to avoid my fists, Kakashi said. Sasuke trembled a little at the feeling he was getting off Kakashi. He knew that he would be in for a long month. Naruto grumbled as he quickly got out of the hot water. He turned to Ebisu, who had a grin on his face. Naruto so wanted to knock that smug grin off his face, but he wanted to really get this technique down. His training started when Ebisu came for him in the morning. As they walked, he explained the chakra exercise that they would be doing. It was called water walking, and it was much harder than tree climbing. Ebisu explained that because of that the water is in constant motion, the chakra used needed to change constantly. They trained near the hot springs as Ebisu taught it would encourage Naruto to learn faster. After a few more tries, Naruto was starting to get it. Ebisu was impressed as well. Suddenly, Naruto's concentration was broken when he noticed an old, white-haired man peeking into the women's section of the baths. Ebisu saw this and decided to take action. As he charged at him, the man summoned a large toad. Naruto watched as the confrontation ended within a matter of seconds. Naruto checked on Ebisu and saw that he was okay. He stood and faced his attacker. "Hey, what's the big idea?" Naruto spat. "Keep quiet, brat. I'm conducting my research," Jiraiya said and went back to his peeking. Naruto was about to shout, but he decided to do something more. The man felt a pulse of chakra and investigated it. He was wide-eyed when he was in the presence of a beautiful young blonde girl. She was holding a small towel to her person, but it gave the pervert a lot to think about. "Well now, who might you be, my dear?" he asked with a bit of drool coming out of his mouth. The girl threw a towel at him and took a deep breath. "Rapist! Rapist! This pervert is trying to rape me. Help! Help!" the girl screamed. He was shocked by what was going on and in an instant surrounded by the women of the hot springs. They all saw the girl and some knew that it was Naruto using his silly jutsu. Still, whatever this man was going to do to Naruto in this form was sick and twisted. Jiraiya saw no avenue of escape as the women closed in on him. "You vile, sick man! What were you about to do to Naruto?" one woman shouted. "Are you okay, Naruto?" asked another woman. He forced me to use my technique for some type of research. He said that he was going further." Naruto cried. The woman glared murder at him and wielded some weapons. "Naruto, it is time for you to leave. You do not want to see this," one of them said. Naruto nodded and walked away. The man watched as the girl gave him a wicked grin before using the teleportation technique. He realized that he had been tricked. "Ladies, please. This is all a misunderstanding," he said. It didn't help him as he was attacked by the enraged women. Naruto was throwing elbows and knees at a wooden post. After leaving the pervert to his fate, he decided to continue his training until Ebisu was healed. He decided to work on his taijutsu some. While he was not there for the match against Hinata and her cousin, he did hear about it. He had always heard that the Hyuga were masters of taijutsu and to fight them close up was suicide. That didn't mean that he should ignore his taijutsu just because he had something for last year's Rookie of the Year. He was suddenly hoisted into the air and thrown toward the river. He flipped in midair and attempted to stand on the water. He was still trying but was able to stand on its surface. He looked up to see the old pervert from the springs. He was beaten up and angry. He glared at Naruto. "You little brat. I barely escaped with my life after that stunt," he shouted. "Maybe that will teach." He was cut off when he fell into the water. This amused the man as Naruto shot up out of the water. "Arg! What the hell is wrong with me? My chakra has been all crazy since that run-in with Orochimaru," Naruto exclaimed. That name caught the attention of the man. "What did you just say?" he asked. He saw that Naruto looked at him with mistrust. "Don't worry, kid. I'm a very high-ranking shinobi. Now, what did you mean you ran into Orochimaru?" "I got my ass handed to me by the guy during the Chunin exams. When he defeated me, he thrust his fingers into my gut. Since then, my chakra has been off," Naruto said. "Let me see your stomach," he ordered. Naruto recoiled into fright, making the man roll his eyes. He held the boy and raised his shirt. He saw the seal of the yondaime and he saw the seal that was over it. He recognized it as Orochimaru's work because it was crude and unrefined. He decided to do something about it. He focused his chakra into his hands and 5 symbols appeared on each of his fingertips. "5-pronged seal release," he called out and slammed his fingertips into his gut. Naruto felt the air leave him and dropped to his knees. He took a few deep breaths before facing and glaring at the man. He ignored the glare and made a motion to the river. "Try that exercise again." Naruto grumbled but complied with him, not wanting to upset the guy. He did the exercise and he was not sinking. He was completely on top of the water. Naruto cheered as he completed the exercise. The man smiled and vanished, leaving Naruto to his celebration. Sasuke hit the ground again. He struggled to get to his feet. He was beaten up, bleeding from the lip and bruised all over. He glared at Kakashi and his clone that looked at him with a bored expression. The original Kakashi raised his head for his book to look at Sasuke. Well, you were able to last longer this time. You're still too slow, Sasuke. The Sunagenin will kill you if you don't speed up, Kakashi said. My Kakashi. I did not know that you were so vicious, a voice said. 3 heads turned to see a white-haired man. Lord Jiraiya? Kakashi asked in shock. Sasuke was shocked as well. He had heard of Jiraiya and knew that the man was strong. What was he doing here? I heard from Ebisu that you were training the Uchiha on orders. Looks to me like you're trying to break the poor fool, Jiraiya said with amusement. Sasuke was not amused and frowned at his words. What can I do for you, Lord Jiraiya? Kakashi asked. This is a private matter, Jiraiya said. Kakashi nodded and made a motion to his clone. The clone nodded and dragged Sasuke away. The boy struggled a bit, but the clone was not to be messed with. Once away, the two faced each other. I ran into your other student earlier. He's different from what I remembered. He's been attempting to become a better shinobi and is succeeding in it. He's much stronger than he was in the academy. How did you two meet? Kakashi said. That isn't important right now. However, I would like to know if he's in the finals coming up, Jiraiya asked. Yes, he's fighting Neji Hyuga in the first round, Kakashi said. A Hyuga, huh? Okay then, don't worry about him. I'll take care of it, Jiraiya said. He used the teleportation technique before Kakashi could say something. After a while he smiled as he knew that Naruto would be in good hands. Naruto walked toward the training grounds in a hurry. He had come up with this great idea for an attack and wanted to test it out. If he could actually do it, it would really help him in his match against Neji. He was suddenly stopped when the toad from yesterday landed in front of him. On its back was the guy from yesterday. Hey kid, fancy meeting you here, Jiraiya greeted. What do you want now, you pervert? Naruto said. First off kid, the name is Jiraiya, also known as the handsome and dashing toad sage. Second, I'm here so that we can continue from yesterday, Jiraiya said. Yesterday, you punched me in the gut, Naruto stated. Yet, you were able to master the water walking exercise, right? Jiraiya asked. Naruto couldn't deny that it did. So, until the finals, I will be the one who trains you. Why should I trust you? With Ebisu-sensei, he can control his perverted urges. I wouldn't get anything done with you and any girls around, Naruto said. Come on kid. I'm a really powerful ninja and I can teach you some very powerful jutsu, he said. Oh yeah? Like what? Naruto asked. How about I teach you how to summon my friend here? I heard that you have a lot of chakra to burn, Jiraiya said with a smirk. He could see the boy's interest and knew that he had one. Ino found her sensei with Choji and Shikamaru. Choji was currently trying to roll over Shikamaru. She figured that Asuma must have promised Choji a free lunch to help train the lazy sloth. She forgot about them and focused on Asuma. Took a lot of thinking, but she decided to go with Naruto's advice. She saw how much stronger he got. Maybe it would work for her as well. Asuma-sensei, Ino called out. The smoking Jonin turned his attention to his third student. Hello Ino. Have you come to help out with Shikamaru's training? Asuma asked. As fun as that might be, I came for a different reason. Ino took a deep breath and looked at him seriously. I would like for you to help me become a better kunoichi, she said. Asuma looked at her for a second before sitting down. He had Ino sit as well. That is something that I can do, Ino, but are you ready to become a better kunoichi? I know that you saw how Naruto is and the results, but I'll tell you now that it will be hard work. I will be hard on you and I will be strict. If you are not willing to do the work, then you are wasting my time and yours. So I will ask you again. Are you ready to become a better kunoichi? Asuma asked seriously. Yes, I am ready to be a better kunoichi, Ino said. Asuma looked at her for a long time before he smiled at her. Well then, let's get started on that, Asuma said. Ino could do nothing but smile. Sasuke lay in his bedroll, healing from his injuries. Kakashi was not holding back against him. It didn't feel like training to him. It was as if Kakashi was punishing him for his actions. attempting to humble him. That was not going to happen as long as he breathes. He did not feel sorry for what he did at all. Kakashi was giving the dobe strong techniques and leaving him with nothing. In his mind, it wasn't fair at all. Techniques like that multiple shuriken attack should have been his. Suddenly, he heard the sound of chirping birds. It was soon followed by a huge boom. He forced himself to his feet and made his way out toward the sound. He walked a distance before he found Kakashi. He watched as the man did a few hand seals and cupped his hand. Lightning appeared and was blaring. The screech of birds rang through the area. Kakashi then charged at a boulder that had a few holes in it. He thrust his arm forward and into the boulder, creating an explosion of dust. When it cleared, Sasuke could see that Kakashi's arm deep into the boulder. Sasuke couldn't believe how strong that technique was. A wicked grin appeared on his face and he activated his Sharingan. He stayed hidden and waited. Jiraiya watched as Naruto did the summoning jutsu again. When the sum cleared, he had summoned Gamma. Jiraiya was very impressed with Naruto's progress. In only a week and a half, Naruto had gotten the summoning jutsu down. His first attempt at the technique was a surprise to him when he summoned a toad. The toad turned out to be Gamakichi. It was an impressive feat that even Jiraiya couldn't accomplish. During the week, he was about to summon 2 more small toads and 2 man-sized toads. It was just so impressive. However, Jiraiya wanted to see something else. That something else was the chakra of the 9-tailed fox. His reason for this was so that Naruto could get used to using a chakra. Some dangerous men were coming for him, and his student would not have sealed the fox within him without a reason. If he was able to tap into that power, he could summon one of the great 3 toads. The question was, how was he going to it? Oh, he had a way, but it would put his life in danger. With a sigh, Jiraiya stood up and caught Naruto's attention. "Well, I have to admit, you truly surprised me, Naruto," Jiraiya said. "I told you so," Naruto boasted. "Still, I have something serious to talk to you about, Naruto." The blonde gave him his full attention. "I was wondering, have you ever met with your tenant?" he asked. "You mean the fox?" "No, I never met with him, and why would I want to?" Naruto said. "That's a shame and a problem. I was hoping that you did. I guess that we're gonna have to do this the hard way. For what it's worth, I'm really sorry that I have to do this," Jiraiya said. "What are you talking about?" Naruto asked. Jiraiya just poked Naruto in the forehead. It didn't feeling like a poke to Naruto, who was suddenly sent flying through the bush. When he came to a stop, he was hovering over a very deep ravine with sharp stone sides. He began to descend down the ravine at a fast pace. He tried to grab the sides, but it was too slippery and he was going too fast. When he ran out of options, Naruto could see his life flash before his eyes. Everything went white for him. When he opened his eyes, he was suddenly in a puddle of water. He looked forward and saw a large golden cage. He also saw a piece of paper on the gates that had the symbol for seal. As he stood, he began to feel an oppressive force around him. He looked toward the cage and saw 2 large red eyes and a huge row of teeth. Whatever it was, chuckled at him. "Hello, Warden. I've attempted to get in contact with you for a while. We have much to discuss." Naruto couldn't believe who he was facing right now. Behind the golden cage with the piece of paper closing it was the 9-tailed demon fox. Naruto gulped a little but stood before the great beast. The red-furred, red-eyed demon smirked at Naruto. "I commend you on your bravery, boy. Not many would have stood before me without crippling fear," the fox said. Naruto said nothing, but he stood his ground. He then remembered the fox's first words. "What were you talking about? Why were you attempting to contact me?" Naruto demanded. "We have much to discuss, you and I. However, our time is limited and you need to survive." Naruto was suddenly wrapped up in the demon fox's chakra. Naruto struggled to free him, thinking that the fox was about to kill him. "Relax, boy. I am giving you a small bit of my chakra so that you may summon that disgusted Chief Toad. Once you are done with this, we will continue our discussion." Naruto's eyes snapped open and he could feel the chakra of his tenants. He quickly drew some blood and did the seals for the summoning technique. A large plume of smoke appeared and Naruto hit something soft. He looked down after getting his bearings and saw rusty red. The ground was squishy, so he knew that he did not hit the ground. He stood and saw a blue happy vest with the symbol for toad. What the hell is this? Where am I? A booming voice said. Naruto made his way over to where the voice is and was face to face with the eyes of a huge toad. The toad saw Naruto and narrowed his eyes at him. Who the hell are you? The name's Naruto Uzumaki. You wouldn't be the chief toad, would you? Naruto asked. I am. Where the hell is that pervert Jiraiya? Why did he summon me into this? The chief toad asked. Well, I don't know where that bastard is, but I'm gonna kick him once I get out of here. Secondly, I'm the guy who summoned you, he said. The toad looked at him and began to laugh. The laughter pissed Naruto off and he glared at the toad. What the hell is so funny? Listen boy, you don't have the chakra to summon me. Now stop lying and get that moron Jiraiya, the toad said. Hey, screw you. I'm not lying and I did summon you. Since I did, then that makes me your master, Naruto said. Is that right? The toad said with a hard tone. You have some nerve to say such a thing. I should just drop you and let you fall. I am Gamabunta, Chief Toad, and I have no master. There's a first time for anything. By the end of the day, I'll have you call me that, Naruto challenged. Cheeky little brat. I'll take that challenge, Gamabunta roared. Naruto readied himself to take on the toad. Naruto walked through the sewer that was his mind. He didn't know how he got here, but he could feel the familiar bad feeling he got when he met the demon fox. He made his way to that feeling and was once again in front of the cage. The Nine Tails appeared again and faced Naruto. Welcome back, boy. Are you ready to talk? The fox asked. We've got nothing to talk about. Why would I talk to the guy who is the cause of all that has happened to me? I figured that this is about your chakra, but I want nothing to do with it and you, Naruto said. The fox looked at him and scoffed. I guess I was wrong. You are still an impudent little child, hiding behind your bravado. Perhaps when you mature some more, we can talk then, the fox said. Hey, don't talk down to me. What the hell do you know about me anyway? Naruto shouted. Do not insult my intelligence, boy. I have seen what has been done to you. I have felt your anger when you were younger. You come to me as a child, blaming your problems on something I have not done. I did not ask to be sealed within you, the fox shouted. Naruto wanted to say something, but he couldn't fault the logic of Demon. He took a couple of deep breaths before facing the fox again. You said that we have to talk, so talk, Naruto said. The fox scoffed again, but he decided to comply with the order. I wanted to commend you for dropping that idiot mask. You are improving and your improvement secures my survival. I didn't do it for you. I did it to be stronger for my village. Whatever your reason was, it is a good thing. I would like to offer my assistance in helping you, the fox said. This surprised Naruto, who was now on edge. Why would you want to help me? You're a being of destruction and chaos, something that want nothing to do with, Naruto said. Disappointing, but I knew that already. I'm only offering my services so that you may get back that scroll. With it, you can become much stronger, further ensuring my survival. Scroll? You don't mean that scroll I got back during the mission? Yes, that scroll. You are rather lucky that you got that scroll. The sage of the six paths was strong in his time. Learning from such a strong human is quite remarkable. Don't you agree? Naruto wanted to ask more about the sage, but he felt that the fox would not tell him anything. What's in it for you? Like I said, your improvement ensures my survival. While I wish for freedom, this damn seal prevents it. Instead of working against you, I would work with you until I find a way to escape my prison. So, what do you say, boy? The fox asked. Naruto just looked at the fox, who just grinned at him. Fine, but we're going to have some rules. I don't want your chakra unless it is really necessary, Naruto said. I reserve the right to ignore that rule if you are going to get us killed, the fox countered. Agreed. Another rule is that you don't influence me when I get angry and use your chakra. Naruto said that with a tone. It made the fox chuckle. Figured that out, did you? Very well, I will not influence you, but that might not be easy. As you have said, I am a being of destruction and chaos. It depends on you to rein in your anger, the fox said. Naruto just gave him a dirty look before nodding. I can't think of anything else yet, but I will, Naruto said. Understood. As a show of good faith, let me help you with your chakra control. Two beams of red light shot out and wrapped around Naruto's ankles and wrist. They came together, causing Naruto to lose his footing and fall onto his back. Naruto saw that he was restrained and attempted to break free. Hey, what's the deal? Naruto shouted. It is a special type of chakra exercise. You must continuously use your chakra to keep the chains apart. The pros of this exercise are that your chakra pool will increase and your control will improve. Who knows, you might be able to do a normal clone jutsu. Now that our business is done, you can leave, the fox said and ejected Naruto out of his mind. The blonde's eyes shot open and Naruto was fully awake. He sat up and looked around to get his bearings. Yo, a voice said. Naruto turned to see Kakashi. Kakashi-sensei? What are you doing here? Naruto asked. I got word that my student was in the hospital for chakra exhaustion. Seeing that you're up, I don't have to worry. However, I'm curious as to how you of all people got chakra exhaustion. Care to explain it to me? Kakashi asked. Naruto nodded and began his tale. Kakashi was not too surprised that Jiraiya was training him, but he was proud that Naruto knew the summoning technique. He chuckled a little when he talked about his meeting with Gamabunta. That's when Naruto told him about the Nine Tails. He was concerned about what Naruto told him. At the end, Kakashi was looking at Naruto seriously. Can you trust him, Naruto? Kakashi asked. I don't really know. It seems like he doesn't have any hidden agenda, but I know that he wants out of the seal. I'm going with the wait and see approach for now, Naruto said. Alright, but be careful, Naruto. We don't know what the fox wants. I'll have to let the Hokage know about this, Kakashi said. I understand, but can you help me first? Naruto said. Kakashi saw that he could not move his wrists or ankles. He nodded and helped Naruto with the fox's chakra exercise. Sasuke cupped his hand and watched as lightning surrounded it. He had a dark smile on his face. He could feel the power of the technique. He deactivated the technique and fell to his knees. It was the only drawback to this technique as it took a lot of chakra to do. He didn't know how many he could do before he was out of chakra. After he got his breath back, Sasuke bandaged his hand. If Kakashi saw the burn marks, he would get suspicious and get the reason out of him. He raised his bandaged hand and smirked. With this jutsu, he would show everyone just how strong he was. Ino was breathing heavily as she struggled to get to her feet. Across from her, Asuma stood and waited. He was actually pleased with Ino's progress. He still could feel the sting of her shots across his arm. He smirked at the tired blonde. Imitating the Hyuga, are we? Asuma asked with amusement. Not really, my aunt showed me a bit of the Yamanaka fighting style. Apparently, we work on disabling our opponents so that they couldn't move when we read their minds. She said that very few use it anymore. Ino explained. That's true. Your clan isn't known for its close combat skills. Still, it is a good style for you. So, are you ready for another go? Asuma asked. Ino nodded and charged at Asuma. She would get stronger no matter what. Naruto was sleeping peacefully. After a whole day with Kakashi, he had finally gotten the hang of the fox's exercise. Kakashi explained that this would be a very good exercise for him. Naruto just wanted to get some needed sleep. He had another week before the finals started and he was going to train hard for 4 days. He still had that idea and jutsu to learn. As he slept, he was suddenly once again brought before the fox. Naruto groaned as stared at the Nine Tails. What do you want now? I was sleeping, you know. Sorry to spoil your beauty rest, but you have a problem. What are you talking about? The boy with the sand, he is similar to you. What? He is a container just like you. He carries that crazy shikaku. Wait a minute. That red-haired guy from the sand is just like me? What's he doing in the hospital? First, he is similar to you in that he contains one of us, but you are very far apart. The shikaku is an insane being that wants nothing more than blood. Anyone who is his container is very unstable. As to why he is here, I would guess that it is because of that weird boy in the green spandex. Shikaku has an impressive defense and that boy broke it. He will kill the boy, the fox said. Why didn't you say that in the first place, you stupid fox? Naruto shouted. Naruto instantly woke up and shot out of bed. He made his way to Lee's room. He saw Gaara stand over him, his sand making a move to the sleeping Lee. Naruto acted quickly and used the teleportation jutsu to grab Lee. Naruto placed Lee behind him and faced Gaara. Gaara did not look happy that he was stopped. "Why did you stop me?" Gaara demanded. "A better question is, what do you think that you're doing?" "He can't defend himself," Naruto said. "He questioned my existence. He must pay for that. I will kill you as well if you get in my way," Gaara said. "Don't think just because you have the Shikaku in you that I'm going to back down," Naruto said and got into a stance. His words surprised Gaara. "How do you know about Shikaku, the wind spirit?" Gaara asked. Naruto used a bit of the Nine-Tails chakra and his eyes changed to show Gaara. "You aren't the only one with a spirit stuck in his gut," Naruto said. This surprised Gaara as there was another person just like him. He looked closer at Naruto and rethought his earlier mental assumption. "No, you are not like me. You do not have the same eyes as me. You don't have the same hate as I do." "Why is that?" Gaara asked. "I know what you mean. Having people hate you for something that you had no choice in. I hated them. I wanted bad things to happen to them, but that doesn't solve anything. That's why I took a different path and I found people who acknowledge me," Naruto said. "You are naive and idiotic. They will turn on you the second you let your guard down. My mother is the only one who has not betrayed me, and it is because of her I have an existence," Gaara said. "No, you allowed your grief to take over and you threw away your humanity. You're just proving them right by becoming what they fear," Naruto said. Gaara glared at Naruto and his sand began to react. Naruto readied himself to fight when they both heard footsteps. Gaara called back his sand and turned around. He stopped in the doorway and faced Naruto. "I will kill you and I will show you how foolish you are," Gaara said and left the room using the teleportation. Naruto calmed down and turned his attention to Lee. The bowl-cut teen was still sleeping. Naruto turned back to the doorway and had a serious expression on his face. He would need to be ready if he wanted to be a match against Gaara. The day of the finals had arrived and everyone in Konoha was excited to see the competition. Daimyos from other countries was arriving to see how strong each genin was. This would help them as they choose what village to ask for help. From what they could see, it was going to be between the leaf and the sand. They waited eagerly for the finals to start. Ino was looking for a place to sit. She was wearing causal clothes, consisting of an orange t-shirt that had the stylized kanji for the word boar, inside a light green circle on the upper left side of the chest, brown shorts, and cream-colored elbow guards. She was also sporting some bandages from her training. She finally found a seat, but it was near the brown-haired teammate of Niji Hyuga. Is anyone sitting here?" Ino asked her. "No, you can sit here," Tenten said. "Thanks," Ino said and took a seat. She got situated and looked toward the field. She saw those who made it to the finals but no Naruto. She was wondering where the blonde was when she caught sight of the spiky-haired genin. She couldn't really tell if that was him because he was wearing something other than that orange eyesore. "You're looking at that guy pretty hard there. I thought that you were interested in that Uchiha guy," Tenten asked. "I was, but I saw who he truly is and that just killed any interest. Besides, I thought that was Naruto, but I couldn't be sure since I don't see that much orange on him," Ino said. "Hey, you're right, but it has to be him because of the hair," Tenten said. Ino had to agree with her and had to admit that he did look good in those clothes. That's when she heard Tenten speak. "I feel sorry for him though. He's going up against last year's rookie. Niji isn't the type to play around. I would have agreed with you, but this isn't the same guy from our graduating class. He's much stronger than before. I've upped my training just so that I don't fall behind," Ino explained. "Is that so? That's pretty good for you. The way you and the pink-haired girl fought was a bit embarrassing. If you want, I can spar with you. Maybe show you a few things," Tenten offered. "I might take you up on that," Ino said with a smile. She turned to the crowd and noticed Sakura. She was sitting next to her mother and father. She couldn't really see her face, but by the way she sat, it looked like she was under house arrest by her parents. She just shrugged and focused her attention to the field where the first match was about to begin. Naruto was stretching out his muscles as he got ready to fight Neji. Neji watched him and noticed his change of attire. A pair of baggy blue pants tied at the ankles, a black and orange jersey over a mesh shirt with short sleeves, and a gray jacket with black strips on the sleeves. He saw that his fists were taped as was his ankles. Neji just smirked at him because of how relaxed he was acting. Naruto saw the smirk and was curious about it. "Is there something funny?" Naruto asked. "Yes. I find it amusing that you are so confident in your abilities. You are slightly better than your peers give you credit for, but it would not be enough. You are a loser, it is your destiny. You can either accept it or be embarrassed," Neji said with a grin. Naruto just looked at him before chuckling. "Wow, is that your strategy? Is this how you beat Hinata? Sorry pal, but I'm not gonna break down like that just because you say a few words," Naruto said. "Very well. Don't say that I didn't try to help you," Neji said and slipped into his stance. Naruto got on the balls of his feet and readied himself. Genma looked at the two and saw that they were ready. He signaled the match to begin. Naruto threw a quick roundhouse kick which was way out of range. Surprisingly, Neji was thrown back a few feet. Confused at what just happened, he barely got his arm up to block Naruto's roundhouse kick. The power behind the blow surprised Neji some more. Naruto followed up with a few punches, but Neji dodged them. Neji lashed out with a palm strike, but Naruto ducked it and threw an uppercut. Naruto missed but was able to get Neji in a clench. He drove his knee right into Neji's chest, making him gasp. He threw another knee, but Neji blocked it. He then hit Naruto several times, forcing him to release the clench. As he backed away, Naruto threw a front kick that caught Neji flush on his face. The two got some distance before Naruto rushed back in. Neji was waiting and the two proceeded to throw punches, kicks, knees, palms and elbows at each other. They both jumped away and landed across from each other. Everyone was in awe at what just happened. In the span of a few minutes, everyone's perception of the match had changed. How was the village pariah matching blows with a Hyuga? And it wasn't just any Hyuga but the Hyuga prodigy. Everyone could see that Naruto had done some damage to Neji. What was most surprising was that Naruto seemed to be shrugging off the gentle fist. He wasn't showing any of the affects that one who show if they were getting hit by it. Among the crowd, none were more surprised than Tenten and Ino. "Did I just witness that?" Tenten asked in shock. "I knew that he had improved, but to fight a Hyuga in close is suicide. Yet, he isn't showing that the gentle fist is affecting him," Ino said with equal shock. "What type of training has he done in order to prepare for that?" Tenten asked. "I don't know," Ino answered. Naruto stared at his opponent and let out a huff. He was thinking about how the fight had been going. "Okay, that gentle fist of his packs a punch. Even the little metal plates I have on aren't stopping it. My threshold for pain is good, but if I take any more strike like that, I'll be in trouble. He's still holding back, but he's starting to take me seriously if his activating his Byakugan is any indicator. Alright then, it's time to fight my type of fight." Naruto thought and did a familiar seal. "Shadow Clone Jutsu." He called out and summoned 4 clones. Neji saw this, but his Byakugan could not tell them apart. He then saw the middle one attack. He saw a shimmer and moved out of the way and right into Naruto's fist. Neji staggered, but he was quick to block another roundhouse. He was then forced to a knee by a low kick from another Naruto. He rolled away, dodging a flying knee. He got to his feet and attacked the 2 clones that came at him. The 3rd clone engaged him in another close combat situation as 2 more Narutos flanked him. He saw that one reared his foot back while the other was doing hand seals. He grabbed the clone attacking him and used it as a shield to block Naruto's mysterious attack. He then began to expel chakra throughout his body just as Naruto finished his hand seals. "Fire style, Fireball Jutsu," Naruto called out and spat a fireball at him. 8 trigrams palm rotation, Neji called out and began to spin. A dome of chakra appeared and stopped the fire technique. Neji came to a stop and faced the jutsu-wielding Naruto. Naruto just looked at him with determination and readied himself. My, what talented genin you have. You have a branch member using a main house technique and the dead last using a powerful fire technique. You must be proud," the Kazekage said. "Yes. It warms my heart to see that the next generation is so strong, Hiruzen said to him. I am confused by that technique that the blonde used. Is that a wind technique? The Kazekage asked. I truly don't know. However, it is impressive that it does not require hand seals to use. From what I've seen, it is not mastered. If it was mastered, that last attack would have cut through the clone and Niji. Hiruzen explained. What a dangerous genin you have, Hokage-sama. I will have to keep my eye on him in the future, the Kazekage said. Hiruzen said nothing, but he did not like the words that came out of the Kazekage's mouth. It sounded more like a threat than a statement. He would have to keep an eye on his fellow Kage. Niji was breathing very hard. He had bruises on his forearms and calves. He looked at the dozen clones that was surrounding him with a harsh glare. He couldn't believe how this match had gone. He did not expect this for the dead last. It angered him greatly that he was being pushed so far by this failure. He needed to finish this off, and he had just the way to do it. He had already figured out which one was the original and made his way toward him. He dodged the attacks and jutsu to appear next to the original. Naruto saw his stance and knew that he was in trouble. He decided to use his other original technique. He quickly did the hand seals and finished just as Niji launched his attack. Gentle fist art. 8 trigrams, 64 palms. Niji shouted. 2 palms. Niji shouted and struck to hit nothing but air. This surprised him as Naruto appeared to his left. Niji growled, but he would not give up. 4 palms. Again he hit nothing. 8 palms. His strikes hit nothing but air. 16 palms. Naruto's images danced around him as his palm went right through them. 32 palms. Niji threw his strikes faster and faster, but he was still unable to touch Naruto. 64 palms. Niji roared. Naruto's images just kept dancing around Niji's strikes. When it was over, Naruto's images disappeared and Naruto was nowhere to be seen. That's when Niji was suddenly dragged into the ground up to his head. Niji growled and was about to blast his way out of the ground when he felt an incredible amount of chakra. He looked up to see Naruto in the air. He also noticed that some of his features looked darker than before. Ninja art. Lion's roar. Naruto bellowed and unleashed a huge wave of sound toward Niji. Didn't have time to dodge as he was hit with the wave of sound. The blast created a crater, then sank Niji further into the ground. When Naruto landed on the ground, he cautiously moved toward the crater. He looked into the crater and saw that Niji was sprawled out, not moving. Genma checked Niji over. He was going to be really sore, but he was alive. He then turned to Naruto and pointed at him. Winner of the first match, Naruto Uzumaki, Genma said. At first, Naruto heard nothing for the crowd, which did not really faze him. That's when he heard clapping. The clapping got louder and there was more of it. Then there was cheering. Naruto couldn't really believe what he was hearing. People were cheering his name. They were giving him praise and telling him that he did a good job. He was so shocked by it. He quickly got out of his shock and gave the crowd a big grin. He raised his arms in victory and egged the crowd on. I can't believe what just happened. Naruto just beat Niji, Izumo stated with shock. Yeah, and what is more shocking is that he did it without so much trouble. Throughout the match, he had the edge over Niji, Kotetsu said. I agree. He didn't rush in too much. He kept him on edge with jutsu and strange attacks. Those last 2 moves were impressive. Not to mention that he kept his cool. Do you think that he deserves a promotion? Izumo asked. No doubt about it. He deserves Chunin rank, Kotetsu said. I don't believe it. How could Niji have lost? Tenten asked in shock. Yeah, that's the way. Way to go, Naruto, Ino shouted. She was very happy for the blonde who gave her some direction in her ninja career. Her cheering got the attention of Sakura. The 2 rivals looked at each other before Ino grinned at her. Sakura growled but ignored her. She wasn't going to argue with Ino with both her parents right here. Ino looked at Tenten, who was still shocked. Hey Tenten, watch my seat for me, okay? Ino asked. Tenten nodded as Ino left to congratulate the blonde shinobi. 3 unseen techniques, that is quite a genin. That last attack was something else, the Kazekage said. Yes, it was. It is easily mid-C rank technique. I am excited to see what he shows us next. Hiruzen said. You won't be alive long enough to see that, sensei, was the Kazakage's dark thought.